The calendar turns to the month of July as we enter the 19th game of the Cape League season as the Bourne Braves welcome the Orleans Firebirds here to Doran Park. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. Alongside Matt Scalzo, I'm Cam Manna with you. Orleans and Bourne, two of the top teams in both divisions, and the last time they played was June 12th. Matt, now both teams completely different since game number 3.
Yeah, you look back to that, and Bourne, just a completely different roster that I think we've hit on in every matchup so far over the last week. But you look back to it, and it's just such a completely different landscape in terms of what was going on in the Bourne dugout and how that team looked as a whole. Bourne was still searching for their first win, and now they're trying to close the gap to Katuitt for the top spot in the Western Division. Bourne now above 500 at 9-8-1. Meanwhile, Orleans, who got off to a slower start this season, is nearing that 500 mark. They're at 8-9, so you're looking at two teams right in the thick of it. It's a bit more closer in the East, but a bit more, and with YD and Harwich and Orleans now creeping up there as well. And Brewster's always a team to keep an eye on as the calendar flips, like Cam alluded to earlier. And meanwhile, for Bourne, they're just trying to close the gap to Katuitt and stretch their lead over teams like Wareham and Hyannis, both of which they jumped to the second spot in the West last night.
Orleans beat YD last night 10-1 in probably their best game of the summer. And that top offense, who's right now playing some of their best baseball, they're going to face off against Marcus Morgan, his second start of the summer for the Braves. A first start for Marcus Morgan a week ago that was pretty good, Matt, but he's looking to build off that here tonight.
Yeah, and it's a similar trajectory to what we saw with Liam Doyle, both making their first starts 1 week ago. Doyle making his second start last night against Hyannis, going 4 2/3. We had a very solid night. He had 5 strikeouts there. Just had to check my book to make sure. And he also only issued out 1 walk. You think back to his first start where he had 3 strikeouts to 3 walks. Now for Morgan, he had 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. You're hoping that he follows a similar recipe to what made Liam Doyle successful, and that was not giving out those freebies. It's something Marcus struggled with a little bit at Iowa this past season in the spring. But now that second start, it's where we've seen these Bourne starters take a little jump, and that's what Scott Leonard is going to be hoping for, is that Marcus Morgan's able to go to that 5-inning range, somewhere around that, to give his bats a chance, and that bullpen just to close out the next 4 innings. And we've seen the Bourne bullpen be lights out this season so far.
Another night of baseball here at Doran Park, and so much more to break down here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. You'll hear from Matt Scalzo and I in just a little bit, but Ali Navarette and Mojo Hill ready to break everything down in depth on Before the Bravos. That's next.
The visiting lineup for the Orleans Firebirds.
Welcome on into another edition of Before the Bravos. Ali, as always, alongside Mojo, as always. And Mojo, we were just talking about it. First of all, I feel like we comment on the crowd here like every single time we do Before the Bravos, but we're just talking about it. Definitely a lighter crowd right now at Doran Park because of the 4th of July Cape traffic, something that I was warned about before I came here, and it's definitely holding true. Literally had to push BP and early work and everything back today because of the traffic near the bridge.
Yeah, it was pushed back by a while. I was not expecting this. It kind of took me by surprise. It was pretty crazy. I mean, I live pretty close by, and it took an hour and a half to get here, which was just insane. I mean, especially like near the bridge, it was just crawling along. Practically could have walked faster. So, yeah, it's a lighter crowd, but it's still a nice day for baseball.
Oh, a beautiful day. We've got the Firebirds here at Doran Park tonight, and these two teams have not faced off since Game 3 of the season back on June 12th at Lowell Park, I believe. No, is that Katuitt? Eldridge Park? That's Orleans, right? Whatever.
There's so many of them. It's
There's
hard to
so
keep track
many.
of all these teams.
The Orleans broadcasters told me that this is the final stop on their tour of the Cape ballparks. We finished ours at YD a couple days ago. But anyways, last time they faced off was at Orleans Field, and they haven't seen each other since. Both teams very different in very different spots than they were just a couple days into the season.
Yeah, a lot has changed for both teams since then. Bourne and Orleans had two of the worst offenses in the early going of the season, but they both turned it around. Bourne a little more so, but Orleans too. You know, they gotten their record back to 8-9, and Bourne just a little better at 9-8-1. So yeah, we should definitely see a different brand of baseball. You know, more offense on both sides tonight.
Last night, the Bravos had a kind of crazy game against Hyannis. There was an injury to the umpire and a delay, I believe, in the 6th inning, and eventually the game would get all tied up at 3, and then a walk-off walk from Garrett Michelle in that one. So Bourne moved to 3-0 against the Harbor Hawks this year. I think they have a real opportunity here to take on the Firebirds, like you said. Bourne has moved above 500 again after last night, and a much different roster than we saw a couple weeks ago, and I think a stronger one at that.
Yeah, that game was kind of a weird game, especially the 6th inning. I thought the 6th inning was honestly one of the stranger innings I've ever seen because, you know, it started with a home run. Grundy was struggling. He'd given up 3 straight rockets, and then, you know, you had the umpire delay, and he had to come back out, which obviously had to have been tough, you know, coming out and having a, you know, just like when a rain delay happens, you know, pitchers have trouble coming back after that. And it wasn't quite as long as a rain delay, but it was still, you know, Landers had to call everyone off the field and had to delay things. And then Hyannis playing some small ball after hitting some rockets off of Grundy, which, you know, if I was the manager, I might not have completely agreed with that style of play, but it worked, you know, especially the first bunt that got down for a single, and then the other one that brought a run home. And then there was that crazy play at the plate to keep the game tied, which, you know, that was a huge situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. Grundy in some serious trouble. He was struggling. You know, throws a wild pitch, and you think, oh no, but then Guzman just, you know, continues to thrive behind the plate, and Grundy also, you know, showed a lot of athleticism to get down to the plate in time.
That was a crazy play
for Guzman to make the throw in time, and then he gets the strikeout at the key time to stray in 2 in scoring position, and it was almost kind of a turning point, even though the Braves offense kind of ran out in the late innings, and, you know, they had some trouble getting stuff going there, but to keep it tied in that situation when things so easily could have spiraled, and then they got it done obviously in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, a lot of that thanks to Guzman as well. He led off the bottom of the 9th with I think he had a leadoff double.
Yeah, it was a leadoff double, and Michelle was saying even after he drew the walk-off walk, like, all the glory goes to Guzman for getting us started. And honestly, he's probably right. That was probably the biggest hit, you know, because it completely changes. It's just like, you know, in extra innings when you start with a runner on second, it's just a completely different thing when you have a guy in scoring position with nobody out to start things off. And, you know, the Braves showed some patience. They loaded the bases for Derek Bender, who, you know, had been so hot, couldn't come through. He had 2 at-bats yesterday where he swung at the first pitch. And, you know, he's obviously a tremendously talented hitter. I think he needs to just be a little more patient. Sometimes they, you know, especially as they start pitching around him and they realize how good he is, and, you know, they're not just going to give him strikes. And so he's getting a day off today finally. I mentioned yesterday he was kind of the only guy who'd been in the lineup consistently pretty much every single day. Now he's finally getting a day off, which you know, I think he needs. But then Michelle right after Bender showing the patience to draw that walk, even when ideally he probably would have wanted to walk it off with, say, a double or even a grand slam, but, you know, he'll certainly take the walk-off walk.
I was going to say, a win's a win, and like you mentioned, a rare off day for Derek Bender, but I think well-deserved. You know, he started really hot. He's been a bit colder lately, so take some time off, get back at it probably tomorrow at Falmouth. But let's talk about pitching for a second. We have Marcus Morgan on the mound for the Braves. His last start, I believe, was exactly a week ago. He's out of Iowa. What can people kind of expect from him, Mojo?
Yeah, he's another one of these guys, just like Brody Brecht, who they faced when he was with Chatham, who gets a lot of strikeouts, walks a lot of guys, doesn't give up many hits. And so the biggest key for him is keeping the walks down, refining that control. He had a bit of a control problem in his first start with Bourne, nothing too serious. I think he had 3 walks and hit batter in 4 innings, gave up 2 runs. Okay start. You know, we definitely want to see more from him. Want to see those strikeout numbers, you know, turn up too in the summer ball, because he only had a couple strikeouts in his first start of the summer. But yeah, he's another guy who, you know, has a lot of talent and just really needs to work on refining the stuff, and that's what summer ball is all about. So hopefully he can go a little deeper and limit those free passes.
Totally. And another guy I want to mention on today is before the Bravos is JKG. He kind of struggled in his first game back at YD yesterday. He went 3 for 4, had some extra base hitting in there. I'm just so excited that he's been back in the lineup consistently. I think he's a presence. He's been a presence despite his injury. I know he's one of the most cheering, happy guys in the dugout always. And so I was really excited to see him get back on his feet yesterday. And he'll be with Bryce Eblin there in the order back-to-back. And I know those two guys were champions together last summer, so that's kind of a fun little thing to see today.
Yeah, it's nice to see him getting back into it. He only had 3 total hits between last summer and this summer with Bourne combined before yesterday, and he goes and gets 3 hits in one game. It's probably been frustrating for him not being able to play every day. He's been warming up. He's been with the team. He's, like you said, he's been a great presence. But it had to be tough to not be in the starting lineup consistently. And now he is, and he's starting to get into it, getting consecutive starts, which is awesome to see. His first hit was kind of a chopper he got lucky on, but then he started to hit the ball better as the game went on, and then finished it off with that double. So it seems like he's starting to see the ball really well. And he definitely makes this lineup even longer than it already is.
This lineup is so interesting to me today. I'm just looking at it. Obviously, we've talked about how deep the Braves are at this point in the season, but these are a lot of guys that we haven't really seen playing together. I mean, it's just an interesting combination. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
I think Pete Chafreda is a guy to keep an eye on, not discount even though he's batting 8th. He has a 457 OBP even this deep into the season, and he's gotten, one of the more reliable, amounts of at-bats of any Brave on this team. He's batting 8th, but 457 OBP. He's shown some power too. He had that leadoff home run in that one game. So, I think he's a really good hitter. Who honestly, if I was making the lineup, I would probably put him higher. But he's someone to really keep an eye on down there.
I also have been very impressed with Caden Bodine. Obviously, he had the day off yesterday, and usually we see him and Bender batting back-to-back, just like they did at Coastal, but in reverse order, as we've said many times. But he'll be back there behind the plate today, and we've talked about it. We are just so spoiled with the catchers on this roster. They are so good defensively, and then I think Bodine just brings, an extra presence at the plate that can be really exciting on this Braves offense.
Yeah, and he's interesting, too, because he's a switch hitting catcher, just like Salty.
Salty
hasn't been here the last few days, but hopefully he'll be back soon. But I can't imagine how valuable that is to work with him. They're both switch hitters, they're both catchers. He had a great season for Coastal Carolina, and he's been getting on base a lot. 444 OBP so far. He still hasn't quite found that power stroke, which I keep coming back to, but he's just been really rock solid at the plate.
There he is with Marcus Morgan, today's starting pitcher. And, we talked about the record a little bit. Bourne currently 9-8-1. So this has the potential to be their 10th win of the 2023 season, as well as moving them to 2 games above 500 for the first time. We've seen them with a winning record twice. After the loss to YD, it fell back to 500. Last night puts them at 9-8. So 10-8, it would be, I think, a real mark for Scotlanders right now, especially. We've talked about it. The standings in the West, you've got Cotuit running away at the top and Falmouth towards the bottom kind of solidly, but then Wareham, Hyannis, and Bourne are really kind of in there. And Bourne in that 2 spot right now, to get another win today, I think would mean a lot. Especially, it's July now. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's July. That really snuck up on me.
Yeah, it's not okay.
But I think, even early on when the Braves were losing, I think anyone could have said they were due to eventually be above 500, with the run differential thing we keep coming back to. Even when they were losing tight games, and it's finally starting to pay off. They're incrementally getting that record higher and higher. They're 8-3 in their last 11 ever since a 1-5-1 start. So they've really done nothing but trend upwards. And even when they have the occasional hiccup, like the 4-0 loss at YD, they don't let it affect them, and they don't let it spiral into anything worse, any kind of big losing streak. They just come out the next day, and that's like what JKG was saying. Like, he had a rough return to the lineup, but he just put that all behind him. And also, like Garrett Michelle, like he hadn't had a great day yesterday at the plate, but he was saying how he just put those at-bats behind him and just tried to, he said he wanted to put the ball in play in that walk, but they didn't give him anything to hit, so he just let them go by, and won the game in an interesting way anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's just baseball. Every single day is a new day. It's a new day here at Doran Park, the opportunity to even the series record with the Firebirds, pick up their first win against Orleans this season. We'll see if the Bravos can get it done. We will take a quick step aside for the anthem. Cam and Matt when we come back.
Batting seventh, the third baseman from the University of Alabama, number Sultan and Jared Saltamacchia. Tonight's bat kids are Ronan Kelly and Mackenzie Karras. And tonight's umpires, Steve Williams, Mike Hinojosa, and Margaret Gomez. And at this time, we ask you please rise for our national anthem and welcome Jay Gary to Doran Park to perform tonight's anthem. Jay is a rising senior at Bourne High School, where he is active in chorus, band, and theater, and has previously sung the national anthem for the boys' varsity basketball games.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Braves family has lost a member of this family this past offseason. Don Provost was a founding board member for the Braves over 35 years ago. He was instrumental in the project to install lights here at Doran Park, as well as many other projects that helped to bring the Braves fans baseball to this beautiful environment here at Upper Cape Tech. Don and his wife Ginny were longtime and generous supporters of the Braves. Ginny is here tonight with many family and friends. Throwing out the first pitch for the family is retired Navy chaplain and retired prosecuting attorney John Malone.
A new month of Cape League baseball begins here at Doran Park, the Bourne Braves and the Orleans Firebirds. That's Matt Scalzo. I'm Cam Manna. We thank you for joining us. And before we break anything down, the standings right now in the West Division, Bourne making their jump now 3.5 back of second place from Kitsui. Matt, what do you see here in the standings? Bourne's played great baseball. They beat that Kitsui team 13-1 just a few days ago. A lot to break down here top to bottom.
Yeah, and you're looking at a division in the West that's a bit more, not as wide open as you want to say for the East, but for Bourne, they're making that push towards the Kettleers at the top spot. We've talked about it, how Bourne over the last week and a half has proven that they are on the same level, likely, of Kitsui in terms of their standings within the league. Bourne came in at number 5 of this week's power rankings. Kitsui still at the top, but Bourne's looking to close that gap towards Kitsui, and a win tonight would do that.
Bourne in that second spot, 3.5 games back. They'll play that third team in the Wareham Gateman 2 times coming on to next week. They'll play them on the 4th and on the 5th, back-to-back games, 1 at home and 1 at the road. So a lot to look out there, but this game tonight is this game tonight for the Braves, looking to win 2 in a row, get back on that win streak, Marcus Morgan on the mound for Bourne, and this is the lineup that he'll face for the Orleans Firebirds. And we start with Joe Oyama. He'll bat first in this lineup for Orleans, playing second base. And in that second spot, Andy Blake, he'll play shortstop. Eddie Micheletti, he'll bat third. He's going to play left field. Second in the Cape League in home runs. Fenwick Trimble, he'll bat fourth, and he'll play right field. Jake Penny in that 5 spot. He will be at the hot corner. Johnny Olmstead bats sixth. Don't forget, he had the 3-run home run the last time these two teams faced off. He'll play first base. Jake Hyde, he'll bat 7th at the DH. Henry Hunter, he'll do the catching, batting 8th. And Jake Casey will bat 9th and be in center field. Marcus Morgan, his second outing for the Braves this summer. And the last one came just a week ago, right here at Doran Park. Morgan went 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts against Brewster in a game that Bourne was in control of until that 7th inning, and Brewster just took a huge lead on a Trevor Warner grand slam, won that one 9-5. But Morgan, a strong season at Iowa, 4-2, a 3.88 ERA, a good 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, and a changeup, and looking to dominate here on the mound for the Braves, looking for win number 2, a game above 500. Bourne in those blue uniforms and back to the red lettering. There was a talk for the Braves about if they even go back to the blue uniforms, winning here at home in the whites when they got into that win streak towards the beginning, but they've shown they've won in the blue uniforms, and Orleans in the camo reds. And a fun fact we found out before the game is Marcus Stroman, a pitcher for the Chicago Cubs, a starter. He's pitched for the Blue Jays as well as had a stellar career so far. He pitched for the Firebirds and donated those jerseys. So very nice, his own brand. So Orleans in those, Bourne back in the blues. And we're here from Doran Park, a beautiful Saturday night for baseball. First day of July, and the second meeting between Orleans and Bourne. The Firebirds lead the series 1-0. Morgan on the mound, Joe Oyama. He'll be the lefty in the box. Wind coming straight in here at Doran Park, blue skies. Morgan set from the windup, Oyama in the box, and we're under Bourne. First pitch, foul back. First pitch coming your way at 6:04. Time called here in the box. Your umpires here for the night. Steve Williams will be at home. Mike Hinoza will be at first, and Marvick Gomez, he's at third. The 0-1, wave and a miss. Out in front from the slider is Oyama. Quickly 0-2. Morgan set once again. Long look in at the sign from Bodine. The 0-2 to Oyama. Fastball low and inside. Oyama out of the University of California, Irvine. Batting .326 on the summer. 3 triples and 3 stolen bases. Enjoys the base paths. 1-2 comes in for Morgan. This one chopped towards third base. Bryce Eblin ranges to his left, fires on to first. Not going to be in time. Hits off the body of Oyama. He's now running to second base. This ball's in right field. Michelle ranges over. He'll pick it up. And Oyama is going to be in there safely. So it looks like an infield single. And then they may rule it an error as well after the throw. So Oyama goes to second. He's the leadoff base runner. We'll take a look at your infield outfield for the Braves. Chris Stanfield out of Auburn, he's in center, flanked on his left by Gage Harrelson and his right by Pete Chufreda. And the hot corner will be Bryce Eblin from third to first, Jonathan Vastine at short, Josh Crota-Grauer back in the lineup at second base. Garrett Michelle will play first, and the battery for Morgan is Caden Bodine. So a single and an error for Oyama. He's on second, and Andy Blake, the righty, will now dig in. First pitch gets past Bodine, spiked to the plate, and Oyama will advance another 90 feet. And quickly Orleans with a runner 1 bag away from striking first.
And Oyama with his speed didn't get a chance to mention it. He's laid bunts down, but there that hit, just soft contact, a lot of spin, forced a tough play from Eblin. He advanced on the error, now it's just a little tougher for Morgan.
Morgan from the stretch, the 1-0 to Blake. Fastball up and in.
You know, he likes to let his defense make plays behind him. But there with Oyama's speed, it came back to hurt Bourne.
Michelle in on the grass, same with Bryce Eblin. He's a step back at third. Morgan's 2-0. Fastball low and outside, 3 straight balls. Blake out of Duke, 6 RBIs on his summer so far. Batting just above 300. And this top of the lineup for Orleans, they've been hot of late. Oyama, Blake, and Eddie Micheletti. Morgan's 3-0 from the stretch. Fastball painted outside, called strike. Michelle's still in at first, same with Eblin, holding on the runner and Oyama at third. Middle infield, normal depth. A lot of work to do here for Marcus Morgan. The 3-1. This one gets past Bodine, spiked the home plate. Oyama's going to come in, and he's going to score. 2 wild pitches hurt Morgan. Orleans strikes first. It's 1-0. Not the start that Marcus Morgan wants to begin this one. Oyama got on the infield single. A missed throw got him to second. A wild pitch, and a wild pitch brings him home. The walk for Andy Blake. He's on first. Eddie Micheletti, the powerful lefty, will dig in. Morgan back to the stretch. Michelle holding on the runner in Blake. Here's the first pitch. Slider outside once again. It's going to get past Bodine. Picks it up on the rebound from the backstop, but in safely at second is Andy Blake. Now 3 wild pitches for Morgan and an RBI chance for Micheletti. And Bodine's going to go out to talk to his pitcher in Morgan. Got to bear down right here, just having trouble even finding the strike zone.
And with, the error for Bourne, Marcus might have tightened up a little bit with having the leadoff man get on base. For me, I would have just completely disregarded him out of my mind. 1 run's not going to hurt you, especially in the first inning. It's a long game, but if you let 1 turn into 2 and much more, that's where you get burned.
Morgan set. The 1-0 to Micheletti. Out in front and a swing and a miss on the slider. Morgan back to the strike zone, 1-1. Micheletti in the transfer portal at George Washington University at the moment. 8 RBIs in his summer so far, 2 home runs. Morgan's 1-1. Slider going to miss outside, count 2-1. Orleans comes into the game 8-9, 6-4 in their last 10, but a crucial win last night. A division matchup, beat YD 10-1. Morgan back to the plate, the 2-1, misses outside once again, count 3-1. Fenwick Trimble will wait on deck. A lot of RBIs to mix up with between Micheletti and Trimble. 13 combined between the two. Morgan, the 3-1, fastball low and inside. Micheletti dances out of the way. A 5-pitch walk, he'll jog down to first. First and second for Orleans with no outs on the inning. And the 4-hitter in Fenwick Trimble comes to the plate.
The right fielder from James Madison University, number 13, Fenwick Trimble.
Not the start that Morgan wanted here. 7 days since that last start. He had control issues against Brewster, but got through 4. Trimble digs in, first pitch to the righty, low and outside, blocked by Bodine on the fastball. And Bodine, a lot of work to do so far behind home plate from Morgan, count 1-0. JKG at second base, holding on the runner in Andy Blake. Micheletti off first. Michelle now crashing for the bunt. Showing bunt is Trimble, but he pulls back. Pitch outside, 2-0. And Scott Landers now going to come out of the third base dugout. He'll walk to the mound. Already a pitcher warming up in the Bourne bullpen. And not the start that Landers expected after the thriller last night at home against Hyannis, a 4-3 walk-off win.
Yeah, and for Marcus, he's had those starts sometimes at Iowa where he ran into trouble and barely made his way out of the first inning. Here for Scott Landers, he just wants to calm his pitcher down. We've touched on the control issues, but Marcus has so much potential behind him that you just want to find him to let him settle into a groove a little bit because he's got such a bright future ahead of him. If he's able to if he doesn't let those errors kind of spiral and build off one another.
So Fenwick Trimble back in the box. He's showing bunt once again. Morgan set from the stretch, the 2-0. He'll pull back. This one gets past Bodine once again, spiked in the dirt right in front of him. Both runners advance to second and third. Blake 90 feet away. Eddie Micheletti now in scoring position. 4 wild pitches for Marcus Morgan. And a 3-0 count to Trimble. And you wonder how much longer Morgan can go. Matt brought it up. The ceiling is there for Morgan. 67 strikeouts, but had 47 walks at Iowa. It's the control that's been the issue. It's 3-0. Fastball way upstairs. Gets past Bodine once again. This run's going to score off the glove of Bodine. Was catchable for him. They may rule it a pass ball. So scoring is Andy Blake. Eddie Micheletti to third, a walk for Fenwick Trimble. 2-0 Orleans. And an ugly start for Bourne.
Now batting, the third baseman from University of Notre Dame.
And as Cam said, already a pitcher up in the bullpen. It's Matthew McShane, hard-throwing righty from St. Joe's.
Jake Penny now digs in. The 5-hitting lefty, first and third for Orleans. First pitch, fastball outside, 1-0. Penny out of Notre Dame, batting .306 on the summer, 4 RBIs and 1 home run. Two-step lead for Trimble off first, Michelle holding him on. The 1-0, fastball, called strike in the outer half. One hit for the Firebirds on 2 runs to begin here on the top of the first. Morgan set the 1-1. This one blooped out towards left center field. Vastine going back at shortstop. Coming in is Harrelson. He'll make the catch. Not tagging from third is Micheletti. And a much-needed out number 1 for Bourne.
That'll settle Marcus in a bit more. He threw some nice pitches there, forced the pop out. You got that first out.
Middle infield here, pinch now for Bourne. Time called from Bodine. He'll give a sign out to his infield with first and third. Johnny Olmstead in the box, the righty first baseman out of USC. Had a 3-run home run the last time the two teams faced off. It was a 6-run third inning for Orleans in the 6-4 victory. First pitch, he shows bunt. He'll pull back. It's a called strike either way on the fastball. 2-0, not a lot to come back from, but Bourne's got to bear down right here. Middle infield pinching for the double play. Morgan's 0-1. This one line towards center field. Coming in is Stanfield. He will not make the catch. It drops in, but coming off third base late is Micheletti, and he's not going to score. So bases now loaded for Orleans. And a tough read for Micheletti off third base. So that's where he will stay. A single for Johnny Olmstead, but not an RBI. Sigh of relief there for the Braves. And with the bases loaded, Jake Hyde now in the box.
That wind blowing straight in might have knocked it down just enough to get in front of the speedy Stanfield.
First pitch to the lefty, could be a double play. Vastine grabs it at short for 1. He'll step on the back for 2. On to first, it's a double play. A 6-3, double play for Jonathan Vastine, taking it himself. So a few hits and a few walks here on the top of the first. Orleans takes advantage of some miscues from Morgan and Bodine, and it's 2-0 after a half inning of play here from Doran Park. Bottom 1 coming up, your first look at the Bourne Bats. Orleans strikes first here from Doran Park. It's 2-0, and bottom 1 comes your way. As the Bourne Braves, your first look at their bats. Sam Leboki on the mound out of Vanderbilt, and this is the lineup that he'll face. Batting first in center field, it's Chris Stanfield. Batting second out of Vanderbilt, Jonathan Vastine. He'll play shortstop. Caden Bodine, he'll bat third, and he'll do the catching. Kendall Diggs in the 4th spot, he's DHing. Garrett Michelle, he'll bat 5th, and he's at first. JKG, he'll be in the 6th spot, back in the lineup once again after a 3-for-4 performance. He'll play second. Bryce Eblin, he'll bat 7th and play third base. Pete Freda in the 8th spot, he's in right back in the lineup. And Gage Harrelson, he'll round out the lineup and play left. Sam Leboki out of Vanderbilt. 2 appearances so far on the summer, but only relief appearances. 2 games, 2 2/3 innings pitched. The most he's gone is 1 2/3 against Brewster. So first start he'll make And that's what he was seeing
batting,
at
the center fielder for
Vanderbilt a lot of
Orleans
the times as a
number
reliever,
10,
has made
Chris
starts as well. So you wonder his stamina here for Orleans and how long he can go. The righty will step on the mound. Chris Stanfield in the box, back in the leadoff spot after last night. Leboke will go from the stretch. Stanfield in, here's the first pitch. Check swing, foul tipped, 0-1. Four strikeouts on the summer for Leboke in the 2 appearances. Only 1 walk and 1 earned run. Has yet to allow a hit. The earned run came on a walk and then some pass balls, some stolen bases. Leboke, glove at his belt. The righty kicks and fires. Fastball, gonna miss, low and outside.
And for Bourne now, your offense, you hope to get into gear. You don't need to get it back all at once. It's a long game, but
Leboke's 1-1. This one chopped towards shortstop, picked up from Blake on a hop, fires across the diamond. Speedy Stanfield will get him by a step on the scoop from Olmstead. There's one away, and with that, we'll look at your infield outfield for the Firebirds. In center is Jake Casey. On his right and left field, it's Eddie Micheletti, and on his left in right field, it's Fenway Trimble. And then Jake Penny will be at the hot corner. Andy Blake at short, just making that play. Joe Oyama, he'll play second. Johnny Olmstead at first. And Henry Hunter is the battery with Sam Leboke. Jonathan Vastine now digs in. First pitch to the lefty. Fastball up and in. Third baseman and Penny just a step off the infield grass. Vastine showed his bunting ability with a bunt single last night. Leboke's 1-0, fouled back from Vastine. Vastine comes in the game batting .269, 7 RBIs. Also has 5 stolen bases. That's been a big part of his game when he's on. He's moved up in the lineup. The 1-1. This one line left field and down the line for a base hit. Picked up and left by Micheletti, and Vastine rounds first base. He's heading for second. The throw is not going to be in time. He slides in safely with a 1-out double for the Braves.
you always love to see those kinds of matchups. 2 college teammates dueling here already in the first, and Vastine giving Bourne exactly what they needed after Orleans took advantage of errors in the top of the first, and now you're just looking to bring in Vastine, cut the deficit down.
Caden Bodine digs in, RBI chance. Bodine sat last night for Guzman. Now he's back in the lineup, batting .375. The switch hitter will bat left against the righty in Leboke. Leboke set from the stretch. He'll step off and take a look at Vastine. And Vastine's been seeing the ball so much better. He's been a lot of the times in that 6, 7, 8 spot, but last 2 nights batting in the 2-hole. Had a big 2 RBI go-ahead single last night against Hyannis. First pitch to Bodine. Fastball comes in, driven out to left center field. Coming in is Micheletti. He'll settle under it and make the catch in the gap. Vastine back to second. And 2 outs in the inning, and your first look at Kendall Diggs.
Now batting, the designated hitter.
Derek Bender not in the lineup, as we talked about.
Kendall Diggs.
Getting a night off here tonight. Diggs now wearing number 8. Wore 34 his first few games with the Braves. He bats left. Leboke back in the bump, first pitch. And this one's going to clip Diggs on the knee. He'll throw his bat third base side and jog to first base. So first and second for Bourne, and here comes the walk-off walkman from last night, Garrett Michelle.
Diggs is, I don't know if it's unlucky or just his presence in the box is tough for hitters to work, or pitchers to work around, but it's the second time he's been hit by a pitch in a handful of games. He's been intentionally walked. He's worked numerous walks.
5 total walks for Diggs. First pitch to the lefty Michelle, fastball inside, 1-0. Michelle with 10 RBIs, batting .283. Big chance here for him to cut that lead back and get Bourne on the board. The 1-0 out in front and a wave and a miss on the changeup from Leboke. Vastine back off the bag at second, the shortstop, and Blake just holding him on. Diggs off first. Leboke set once again. Takes a look at second. Vastine still bouncing around, the 1-1 to Michelle. This one driven out towards left center field once again. Micheletti shading over. Same with Casey. Micheletti calls him off in left. and that will end the inning. So 1 hit on no runs here in the bottom of the first inning for the Braves. Orleans still with a 2-0 lead. We head to the top of the second here from Doran Park. We head to the top of the second here from Doran Park. We thank you for joining us on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on a beautiful Saturday night. On the field, Tally Navarette, Matt Scalzo, I'm Cam Manna with you. 8-9-1 for Orleans after the 2 spot in the first inning. A few walks, some wild pitches, an error for Bourne, not the start they wanted. But Marcus Morgan, the starter, is back on the mound. First man he'll face is Henry Hunter, the catcher.
Alabama, Birmingham, number 40, Henry Hunter.
Morgan looking for a bounce-back inning here in start number 2. The Braves still with some guys loose in the bullpen. Hunter batting left, batting 143, his first swings here tonight. Morgan from the windup. Here's the first pitch. Fastball fouled, third base side out of play. And Morgan's athleticism, we've talked about it, and didn't get to talk about it too much in the last broadcast, but had 3 scholarship offers, baseball, basketball, and football, out of high school. He gets set his 0-1, fastball upstairs. And just looking through his stats, he had 317 points in 2 seasons on the hardwood. And for football, a total of 6,000 yards and 55 touchdowns as a QB. 1-1 fastball outside, count now 2-1. Very athletic family as well. Youngest of 5 siblings. All have played Division I sports. The 2-1 fastball, gonna miss once again. Count now 3-1. Another come from behind AB once again for Morgan. 4 walks surrendered so far. His 3-1 from the windup, fastball up and outside once again. A 5-pitch walk for Henry Hunter, and another leadoff base runner for Orleans.
Now batting, the center fielder from Kent State University, number 16.
Jay Casey now comes to the plate. 9-hitter in this Orleans order. The center fielder out of Kent State University. Batting left once again, 2-step lead for Hunter off first. Morgan picks over, Hunter sliding back, close call. And calling him safe at first base is Mike Hinosa. Casey batting 167 on the summer. Pick over once again to Hunter. He's back safely once again. 2 home runs as well for the 9-hitter. Orleans has done a very good job with the long ball. First pitch here to Casey. Fastball low and outside. Normal depth of the infield and the outfield of Bourne. That arm back and ready to go in the left field bullpen for the Braves. Here's the 1-0 to Casey. Fastball outside, same spot once again, 2-0. Orleans has been able to take advantage of mistakes. Only the 9th best offense, almost the worst in the league, but their pitching has been there as the 2-0 comes in. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Casey out in front, 2-1. Second best in runs allowed, tied with Bourne with 70. Hunter once again back off first. Morgan's 2-1. Swing and a miss, out in front of the slider. Morgan working all the way back. It's 2-2. Morgan set once again back to the stretch. Takes a look at first. Glove at his belt. The 2-2. Chop first base side and foul. Has put down only 2 batters because of the double play from Hyde back in the first. Vastine helped get out of that top 1 jam. Now the 2-2 to Casey once again. Chop foul, same spot towards the Orleans dugout. Pitch count now for Morgan is rising. The Bourne bullpen has been stellar. A lot of guys have been able to get some rest. Morgan set the highlight kick, the 2-2. Wave and a miss. Back to that slider was Morgan. Casey goes down swinging. There's one away here in the second.
That's just a confidence boost from Morgan. That at bat, everything. He was attacking against Casey. Didn't fall behind. Instantly on the front foot. Didn't shy away from going at him one more time.
Back to the top of the order, Joe Oyama. He'll show bunt. He'll put it down third base side. Bodine running to it. He'll pick it up. There's going to be no throw to first. Now going to third base is the runner in Hunter. He's caught in a rundown between second and third. Eblin has it, throwing it to Vastine. Vastine's going to tag him out. Going to second is Oyama. So a bunt single for Oyama. Hunter trying to extend to third base. Didn't see Eblin there, but Eblin wasn't too far from the bag. So he'll get tagged out on the base path. So Oyama to second, and 2 outs now in the inning.
Now batting, the shortstop from Duke University, number 35, Andy Blake.
What a weird game so far on the Orleans offense side of things. Have not scored a lot of traditional runs. Few wild pitches trying to advance there. Bourne tagging out the runner and Hunter in the rundown. And Andy Blake now digs in for his second AB. Morgan's first pitch, fastball way outside, just gloved from Bodine. Blake's 0 for 0. Walked and scored in the first, advanced on 2 wild pitches. Has a chance for RBI number 7 on his season. Wide stance in the righty's batter's box. Oyama bounced around at second. Morgan gives him a look. The 1-0 and a swing and a miss from Blake. Count 1-1. Three hits for Orleans, 1 error for the Braves. Going to keep this game at 2-0. Morgan from the stretch, the 1-1, a cut and a miss. Out in front is Blake on the slider. That's the pitch that's been working for Morgan. Count 1-2. Hunter got on to lead off the inning with a walk, a strikeout, and a tagout on the base paths. Morgan can come out of this one scoreless. He's set from the stretch. Glove at the belt. The 1-2. Fastball way outside. Just nabbed from Bodine once again. You wonder if this could be Morgan's last inning. Orleans a chance to take a 3-run lead here in the top of the second. Morgan set once again. Takes a look at Oyama. Crota Grauer holding him on at second base. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. The second punch out for Marcus Morgan. And he gets out of the top of the second. 1 hit and 1 walk on no runs here in the top half. Morgan bounces back here in inning number 2. Bottom 2 coming up. Bourne down 2-0, looking to respond. Marcus Morgan keeps the lead for Orleans at 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the second here from Doran Park. 6, 7, 8, 9 for the Braves. JKG out of Rutgers, he'll dig in for his first swings. And Sam Leboki back on the bump.
Now batting, the second baseman from Rutgers.
Allowed a double and a hit by a pitch back in the first. No runs allowed. And Josh Kroeger going 3 for 4 last night, a double and 2 singles. An RBI as well. Starting to get back into his rhythm, what Scott Landers expected before JKG's injury in game number 1. Leboki's first pitch, fastball outside. Kroeger out of Rutgers. Batted .298 this spring in Jersey. The 1-0, chopped towards shortstop, picked up from Blake. No, it gets past his glove, it's into left field. Kroeger on base once again. The 4th time he's reached base in 2 games. He stands at first, also with 3 stolen bases. An opportunity for him, the first leadoff base runner of the night for the Braves.
Bourne's been able to, get runners on. They had Vastine. Diggs worked the hit by pitch. But now you just got to find a way to advance them further. Don't need to get it all back in one swing.
Bryce Eblin now digs in. He'll show a bunt. JKG is going. The throw down from Hunter, not going to be in time. Stolen base number 4 for Kroeger. And Bourne with a runner in scoring position, their second of the night. Called strike there to Eblin on the showing bunt. Has 6 RBIs in his summer so far. Sat last night, came in the field in the 9th. Leboki's 0-1. Fastball outside. Only 3 hits for Orleans and the 2 runs. Could be a lot worse. Not a lot of traditional runs scored for the Firebirds. Bourne has just hurt themselves so far. Leboki set once again. The 1-1 to Eblin. This one line towards right field and down the line. It has some room. It's down for a base hit. JKG rounds third base. He's going to score. Eblin running to second. The throw in from Trimble. Looks like it's in time. Yes, it is. So Eblin is gunned down at second, trying to extend the RBI. But Bourne gets on the board. JKG started the rally. It's 2-1.
Now batting, the right fielder from Rutgers University.
And there's one of those things. You do your job. You bring the runner in. Bryce is going to be, a little upset that he made the turn. He thought he had enough speed.
First pitch to Giuffreda almost clips him inside 1-0.
But Trimble, nice strong throw right on the money. One hopper straight into the chest of Blake.
The 1-0, this one line right field. It's a base hit for Pete Giuffreda. Back into the lineup and picking up right where you left off, a 1-out base runner for the Bourne.
Now they're just starting to pick up on some things here for Bourne. Just tacking on one another and picking up on things that Leboki does. He doesn't throw also all that hard. It's pretty standard stuff. It's just picking up on the tendencies and taking advantage.
Gage Harrelson digs in. Giuffreda's going first pitch. The throw from Hunter. There is no throw. Giuffreda was going all the way. Before Leboki even lifted his leg, Giuffreda, he was on second base. And Bourne once again with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, Leboki didn't even give Giuffreda a look over at first. And he said, I'll take my chances. Started with a jog and turned into a sprint.
The 1-0 to Harrelson. This one gets past the catcher and Hunter. Almost clipped Harrelson. Giuffreda advances 90 feet. So Orleans, we saw them advancing on wild pitches, running the bases, and Bourne giving them a taste of their own medicine here in the bottom of the second.
Baseball is a long game, 9 innings for a reason. You can put 2 up in the first, but it can quickly change in the matter of an inning or an out. And you saw it with Morgan, a bit more comfortable on the mound in the top of the second. And here for Bourne, they saw some tendencies in Leboki in the first. Didn't take advantage, but here in the second, the RBI from Eblin. Now Giuffreda taking advantage of Leboki not even bothering to give him a look over at first.
Infield now comes in for the Firebirds. Tying run 90 feet away for the Braves. Harrelson in the box, a 2-0 count. Leboki, the pitch. This one foul tipped into the glove of Hunter. 3 RBIs in the summer for Harrelson, batting .259. The outfielder out of Texas Tech, back in the box, the 2-1. This one lined right at the third baseman in Penny. Giuffreda back to third base. It's the hot corner for a reason, 2 away.
Now batting, the center fielder from Auburn.
That's exactly what you would have wanted if you're Harrelson. You made good contact. It's a nice line drive, but it's straight to Penny at third.
Back to the top of the order for the Braves, it's Chris Stanfield. First pitch, slider called strike at the knees. Stanfield had a big RBI in the 9th inning for the Braves. Or excuse me, not an RBI, getting on base. In a big spot, lines this one up the middle, it's into center field. Giuffreda scores, we're tied at 2. Another big hit for Chris Stanfield. And just like that, the Bravos back in it.
Now batting, the shortstop from Vanderbilt University, number 2, Jonathan.
That one was hot off the bat, 101 miles an hour off the bat of Chris Stanfield. Had some movement. Would have been tough play for Oyama. It looks like that will be it for Leboki here. He only goes about 1 to 2 innings. It was going to be a bullpen day for Orleans, and that's exactly what it is here.
So Leboki's night will finish. Bourne ties the game at 2. Stanfield's second RBI of the summer. And they have 2, 3, 4 to follow him up with 2 outs on the inning. We'll get the picture on Orleans and everything you need to know when we return on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. We're back on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Chris Stanfield tie the game up at 2 on the RBI single. And Sam Leboki, his night will finish. Derek Clark, the lefty out of Northwood University, now on the bump. His 5th appearance on the summer, he's 2-1. He's been stellar with a 2.53 ERA on 10 2/3 innings pitched. Pick over to first base before the first throw to Vastine. Stanfield sliding back safely. Clark pitched against Bourne back on June 12th, his first appearance. He got the win. Went 4 innings on 3 hits. First pitch to Vastine, it's low, 1-0. No walks as well. Has had the Braves number, but as we talked about, a completely different team since June 12th. Stanfield's going, pick over from Clark, the throw from the first baseman, and Olmstead to second. It's in time. They gun out Stanfield. So Bourne looks for their 3rd stolen base of the inning, and they cannot get it. But not before Bourne ties the game up at 2. The bats were alive. Kroder-Grauer, Eblin, Sufreda all with hits, and Chris Stanfield, the RBI that tied it. We're going to the third, tied at 2 here from Doran Park. Saturday Night Baseball here from Doran Park, game number 1 in the month of July. The Bourne Braves and the Orleans Firebirds. We thank you for joining us on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. Alongside Matt Scalzo, I'm Cam Manna with you. 3-4-5 for Orleans, Eddie Micheletti, Fenwick Trimble, and Jack Penny. And Marcus Morgan, the starter, still on the mound. If you're just joining us, a tough first inning. 2 runs scored for the Birds on 3 hits. 1 error for Bourne, a few wild pitches from Morgan. But bounce back in the second, looking for the same in the third. First pitch to the lefty in Micheletti, a called strike. Micheletti 0 for 0. Walked back in the first, reached to third on a wild pitch. Morgan's 0-1, chopped up the middle. Vastine ranges up the middle to his left, fires on to first. It's in time. Jonathan Vastine never disappoints at shortstop. There's 1 away.
That's good for Vastine. Last night, kind of had an up and down, like good job with his bat, but I think he would have hoped for some stronger throws with his glove there. It'll make the nice play, settle in Morgan a bit more here as he moves into the third.
Morgan back to the windup. Here's the righty Fenwick Trimble. First pitch slider, called strike of the knees. Trimble also 0 for 0. One of those 5 walks from Morgan. He was stranded at first. Morgan's 0-1, a wave and a miss on the fastball, count 0-2. And Matt brought it up, the talent for Morgan is there, and he's back into rhythm. When he stays in the strike zone, he's very tough to hit. 67 strikeouts for the Hawkeyes this spring. His 0-2, just going to miss. Low and outside fastball, good frame from Bodine, count 1-2. Trimble back in the box, the wide ready stance now chokes up. Morgan's 1-2, foul tipped into the glove of Bodine. Strikeout number 3 for Marcus Morgan. 2 away here in the top of the third.
He's really starting to settle back into himself.
The third baseman from the University of Notre Dame.
Sometimes when you're come out in that first inning and you really feels like you hit rock bottom, great thing about it is that it's only up from there. And Marcus has really, really settled in here.
Here's the lefty, Jack Penny. First pitch slider, it's low. Penny 0 for 1. The third baseman out of Notre Dame. Batting .306 so far this summer. Morgan, the highlight kick, the 1-0. Fastball low and inside, it's going to miss. 2-2 game here from Doran Park, the second meeting between Orleans and the Braves. 2 teams inching towards first base in their divisions. The 2-0 fastball way outside, count 3-0. Bourne 3.5 back from Katuitt. They now sit in second place, above 500 once again. And Orleans in third, they're 2 games back of YD in first. Morgan's 3-0, fastball up and inside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk for Jack Penny, first time he'll reach base tonight. And a 2-out base runner for Orleans.
Now batting, the first baseman from the University of Southern California.
But, Matt, we talk about how much the month of July means and how you kind of got to get hot. And Bourne's been hot right now, 4-1 in their last 5 entering this month.
Yeah, July's the biggest month. It's when all your guys really have showed up. That's what we've seen for Bourne.
Johnny Olmstead digs in. First pitch line to right center field, but Chufreda reads it right in the gap in right, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. So 1 walk, 4 batters faced once again for Marcus Morgan. He's bearing down since the first here at Doran Park. Bottom 3 coming up. We're tied at 2 between Orleans and Bourne. The Braves looking for the lead here in the bottom of the third at Doran Park. The Orleans Firebirds and the Bourne Braves. The second time the two teams have faced off. Orleans leads the series 1-0. Coming off a 10-1 win against YD are the Firebirds. Bourne coming off a 4-3 thriller at home, a walk-off walk over Hyannis. 2-3-4 for the Braves. Here's the lefty Jonathan Vastine. Clark's first pitch, a wave and a miss, going to the slider. As we mentioned, as Clark coming in to finish off that second inning, his 5th appearance. Has been solid so far for Orleans. He's from the stretch, the 0-1, same pitch, swing and a miss from Vastine, count 0-2. His last appearance, his second win, 2 innings, 2 strikeouts against Brewster. A 3-2 victory over the Whitecaps. He gets set once again, the 0-2 to Vastine. Fastball low and inside, chops to the plate. Vastine 1 for 1, he doubled back in the first inning. He was stranded, though. Bourne followed it up with a hit by pitch and a flyout. Vastine set once again. Clark's 1-2. This one looped towards center field. Coming in is Casey. This ball is going to be caught. Laid out in dead center field. That ball just caught enough air for Casey to make a play. 1 away here in the bottom of the third.
Now batting.
Vastine just getting under it a little bit. A lot of backspin. Allows that ball to stay up in the air, and Casey with a good read on it, good run. And a little extra effort, leaving his feet to make the catch.
Caden Bodine now digs in. First time he'll bat right tonight. First pitch slider outside, 1-0. Bodine 0 for 1. Clark's 1-0. Fastball, swing and a miss from Bodine. Count 1-1. Bodine comes in the game batting .375. Clark's 1-1. This one shot right back at him. It's over his head. The second baseman, Oyama, shades over. He'll fire to first. It's not going to be in time. Olmstead comes off the bag. So Bodine gets to first base. We'll see what they score it. And they're going to give him an infield single, so the first hit of the night for Caden Bodine, and a one-out base runner for the Braves.
Yeah, there wasn't communication between Oyama and Blake in the middle infield, both converging practically at the same time. For that ball, Oyama still able to make a throw, but goes a little wayward.
Pick over to first from Clark. Bodine back standing. Kendall Diggs, the lefty in the box. 0 for 0 so far, hit by a pitch in the first. He's walked 5 times, been hit by 2 pitches in just 3 games with the Braves. First pitch, slider upstairs, 1-0. Only 3 walks on the summer for Clark as well, so he's shown so far, especially in this one, pounding the strike zone. Takes a look at first, the highlight kick, the 1-0. And fastball just going to miss down 2-0. Diggs comes into the game batting .250. Little play so far, but he's been an on-base machine. 2-step lead for Bodine. The 2-0 to Diggs. Fastball called strike at the letters. That one at 88 miles per hour for the left-hander. Middle infield pitching here for the Firebirds, Andy Blake and Joe Yama. First baseman in Olmsted holding on the runner in Bodine. The 2-1 from Clark. Slider outside. Check over, and saying he went around is Marvick Gomez. Count now 2-2. Tough call right there for Diggs. Now in a 2-2 hole, widens his stance. He'll choke up. Clark looks at first. The 2-2 slider called strike of the knees. Froze Diggs 2 away.
It's a nice pitch there.
Now batting, the first baseman
Starts
from Virginia
inside and
Tech, number 19,
breaks
Garrett
back to
Michelle.
that corner.
He's had his pitches working so far out of the bullpen. Garrett Michelle, the lefty, digs in. First pitch, fastball called strike in the outer half. Tough now when you go from a righty to facing a lefty. Pick over to first from Clark. Just a lollipop over to first base to Olmsted. Here's the 0-1 to Michelle. Slider outside, no good. And a lot of lefties in this lineup tonight for the Braves, looking to face off against the righty in Leboki, who started off this game. Clark's 1-1 to Michelle. Back goes flying. This one went just into the right field stands over the dugout of Orleans. A kid is holding the whole bat of Garrett Michelle. And Michelle may ask for the bat back, and he's going to get the bat back. The fan gives it to the Orleans dugout. Michelle's going to walk over and take it. Man, the whole entire bat went flying. It didn't even break on the swing and miss.
Yeah, you don't see that every day, but Garrett utilizing the pine tar in the Orleans on-deck circle, making sure he's got a nice grip on it, having a little laugh. Thankfully, no one over there to get hit by the bat.
Imagine being a young kid who's just a fan. You just see a bat go flying, and you get to pick it up for a second. The 1-2, a wave and a miss. Michelle goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Derek Clark. One hit allowed here in the third on no runs for Orleans, and this game stays tied at 2 from Doran Park. Top 4 coming up. I'll hand play-by-play over to Matt Scalzo.
Welcome back to Doran Park. Reminder that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Cape Cod Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, a proud sponsor of the Bourne Braves. Cape Cod Orthopedics, Sports Medicine, and Physical Therapy is the region's largest and most experienced orthopedic group, accepting new patients at our Sandwich and Hyannis clinics. Into the fourth here on a cloudy Saturday evening here from Doran Park. 2-2, the score between Orleans and Bourne. Matt Scalzo alongside Cam Manna. Happy to be with you tonight. Orleans struck first with a pair in the top of the first. Bourne answered back with a pair in the bottom of the second. Marcus Morgan heading into his fourth inning of work, and he's settled in after a rocky first inning. First pitch fastball high and outside to Jake Hyde. 7-8-9 due up for the Firebirds here on the away half of the fourth. The 1-0. Fastball grounded foul towards the Orleans dugout on the first base side, 1-1.
And if Morgan can get through 4 innings, that would be just not a miracle, but such a big thing for the Braves after just a reckless first.
1-1. Fastball jammed inside and popped straight back out of play, 1-2. Hyde grounded into a 6-3 double play that ended the first inning here for Orleans. 1-2. Hyde jammed inside one more time, blooped out to shallow left field. Vastine ranging back, and he's able to make the catch. Sticking his hand back as he overran it for a split second, but the athleticism coming into play one more time, and Vastine making another nice defensive play.
Great play there from Vastine, almost like just a football player trying to catch a pass down the field, throwing his glove into the air on the run, the concentration.
Brings up Henry Hunter. First pitch off speed, catches the outside corner, 0-1. Hunter worked a walk and then went into a rundown on the bunt single from Oyama. 0-1, chopped foul, 0-2. Morgan's got his sign, the 0-2. Called strike 3. Hunter frozen on the fastball right at the knees. Fourth strikeout for Morgan. There's 2 gone in the fourth.
Yeah, Morgan looks like a completely different pitcher than he was in the first. Back in the strike zone, confident, working in a quick rhythm on the mound. Really good to see.
Jake Casey comes out. He was the first person to strike out against Morgan. Takes a fastball outside for ball 1, 1-0. Morgan looking for his first 1-2-3 inning here tonight, the 1-0. And he won't get it as he catches Casey on the back of his leg. And he'll head down to first on a hit by pitch.
Yeah, tough right there for Marcus Morgan, looking for that 1-2-3, and it's just been that next batter after having a really good strikeout, trying to stay consistent in the zone. And a little bit of frustration on the mound for Morgan, just really wanting that 1-2-3. Now it's to bounce back against the top of the order.
Brings up Joe Oyama. He is 2 for 2. A pair of singles, both of which didn't leave the infield. Last one being a bunt down the third base side, so Bryce Eblin creeped up right on the infield grass over at third. Michelle holding on to the runner and Casey at first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Oyama down an 0-1 hole on the slider from Morgan. The 0-1. Sliced right back up the middle and out of reach for a diving Vastine. 2 out base knock for Joe Oyama. He's now 3 for 3 on the night in the leadoff spot for Orleans.
And he's seen the ball so well. He's shown that he can just, slap it to the outfield. A beautiful bunt as well back in the second. On-base machine right now for Orleans.
Brings up Andy Blake as Oyama takes his lead off first. Michelle not holding on to him. Casey over at second. Here's the pitch. Fastball's low. 1-0. The 1-0. Sliders outside, 2-0. Wind blowing in towards left field. Here's the Bourne infield's at their standard depth. No one holding on to either runner. Kuroda groundwork, a couple touches closer towards second base. Now he steps back. The 2-0 slider catches the outside corner. 2-1 to Andy Blake. He's 0 for 1. A walk came in to score in the first and then struck out swinging back in the second. 2-1. Blake fouls it straight off home plate and off his leg. It's 2-2 with 2 outs.
And a big pitch here for Morgan just to get out of the fourth. Looked so good just bearing down the first 2 guys. Looking to bring that back here.
He sets from the stretch, the 2-2. Blake pops it up. Right side of the infield. Michelle moving in towards first base. Down the line, he'll make the catch to end the inning. So a couple of base runners get on with 2 outs for Orleans, but Marcus Morgan and the Bourne defense shut the door in the fourth as we head to the Bourne half of the fourth. Looking to break this 2-2 tie here from Doran Park.
Joshua Kuroda Grauer.
Welcome back to Doran Park. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Josh Kuroda Grauer to lead off to face Derek Clark, who has come in and taken care of business so far against Bourne. Has given up 1 hit. First pitch cut on and missed by Kuroda Grauer. It's 0-1. Clark ended the bottom of the third with a pair of punch-outs to Diggs and Michelle. Struck out 4 batters in 4 innings of work his first go-around against the Bravos back on June 12th, just the 3rd game of the season. Orleans took it 6-4, all 6 runs coming in the 3rd inning for the Firebirds. 1-1, the ball is outside on the fastball from Clark. It's 2-1. Kuroda Grauer reached on a error by the shortstop and Blake. Came in to score on the RBI single from Bryce Eblin. 2-1 breaking ball misses upstairs at 3-1. Josh stole a base, his 4th of the summer, when he reached in the 2nd. Here's a 3-1. Fastball's outside, and Kuroda Grauer works a leadoff walk. He's the only leadoff base runner to reach base here for Bourne tonight.
Now batting, the 3rd baseman from the University of Alabama.
And Josh is big for this lineup. He's in that 6th spot, and he can just turn over a lineup so well. His ability to run on the base paths. Same kind of rally Bourne started in the 2nd.
Josh wasted no time stealing second base off Loboki, excuse me. But here he'll have some trouble with the lefty Clark, who snaps a throw over, and Josh just able to dive back in time ahead of a tag from Olmsted. Clark can stare straight at Kuroda Grauer at first to hold him. He deals with the lefty and Bryce Eblin, and there's another throw over. JKG back in safely. Eblin, the RBI single, gave Bourne its first run. Tried to stretch it out to a double down the right field line, but a strong throw from Fenwick Trimble gunned him out. First pitch shows bunt, jammed inside. Has to use the bat as A way to deflect it from brushing in high and tight. It's 0-1.
Man, scary spot to come in there for Bryce Edmond, trying to put a bunt down, comes right at his face. That barrel just protecting him.
Another throw over to first, and it's in time. Josh Kuroda-Grauer trying to extend his lead a little bit more, and he's caught out. The quick movements from Derek Clark, just like that. The bases are empty with one out.
Yeah, Scott Lander's not going to be happy with that. You know, you really just can't get picked off with a guy that's throwing from the left side. You got to be really aware and just have your body go back.
0-1, swung on and missed on the breaking ball from Clark. It's quickly 0-2. Evelyn settles back in. The 0-2 from Clark. Line drive straight at the shortstop, Blake. He rises up and snags it for the second out.
Now batting, the right fielder from Rutgers University, number
Andy
24,
Blake.
Pete Giuffreda.
Super tall and rangy for a shortstop, as is. Stands at 6'4". A little extra effort there to snag the line drive. First pitch swinging. Pete Giuffreda waves on it. Down 0-1. Giuffreda picked up a single, came in to score the tying run. The 0-1 downstairs, 1-1. 1-1 breaking ball. Catches the inside corner. 1-2 to Giuffreda. Clark wasting no time on the mound. Here comes another 1-2. Fastball zips outside, 2-2.
Really good quick pitch there, and now taking his time, just throwing off the batter in Giuffreda.
The 2-2 delivery. Giuffreda cuts and misses on the ball that skips in front of home plate. Drop third, and Hunter fires it down to first in time for the third out. So Clark works around the trouble with Kuroda-Grauer in the leadoff walk. He picks him off, puts the next two batters down as we head to the fifth. Now to that bet two between Bourne and Orleans. Welcome back to Doran Park. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Convention Data Services, or CDS, a technology company based in Bourne and proud supporter of Cape Cod baseball. Since 1986, CDS has been delivering customized solutions to the global trade show industry. Keep up with CDS on their website at cdsreg.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn. Matt Scalzo, Cam Manna, happy to be with you here on this Saturday night on the Cape. 2-2, the score between Bourne and Orleans. Marcus Morgan back out onto the bump, coming into his fifth inning of work. The 1-0, fastball grounded first base side and foul by Eddie Micheletti. He's 0 for 1, a walk and a ground out on his two trips to the dish. Morgan, after a rocky top of the first, has truly settled into a rhythm here. The 1-1 misses low, and it's 2-1. Dished out 3 walks, gave up 2 hits in that first inning. 2-1 fastball brushes inside, 3-1 to Micheletti. Since then, 5 strikeouts, 2 hits and 2 walks, no runs allowed against Orleans in the last 3 innings. Here's a 3-1. Fastball's upstairs, and another walk given out by Morgan. Leadoff runner is aboard as Micheletti heads on down to first with his second free pass of the night.
The right fielder from James Madison
And
University,
when we
number
left that
13,
first inning,
Edward
after the
Trimble.
inning that Morgan had, you know, you really didn't think he was going to make it more than 2 or 3. Him going to the 5th just helps the Bourne bullpen now kind of get into a regular groove in a regular game and don't have to kind of have one of those bullpen nights. So Morgan being able to be resilient and bounce back on the mound and stick with himself is definitely going to be big as this game goes on.
Fenwick Trimble comes up to bat. First pitch swing, fouls it off down the first base side, 0-1. Trimble's 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout so far tonight. Due up after him will be Jack Penny, the third baseman. Here's the 0-1. Slider misses low, and it's 1-1. Holding on to Micheletti over at first is Garrett Michelle. Grauer a couple steps closer towards second base. Here's the 1-1. This one jammed inside, and it goes off the hand of Trimble. But Marcus Morgan trying to appeal, saying that went off the end of the bat.
Tough one right there. From just the sound up here, that looked like it went off the bat because it wouldn't make that loud of a crack unless the wrist of Trimble just snapped, but he looks completely fine. So that looked like, just from the little ear test that Matt and I have, seemed like it was off the knob, but that's Morgan's 77th pitch. So I wonder if Scott Landers even lets him go anymore. I would assume the pitch count would be maxed at 80 for Morgan in start number 2, especially after the long break from spring season at Iowa to here.
Athletic trainer for Orleans checking out the left hand, that pinky area of Trimble. Ball also extended down the first base line quite some distance. Long conversation between these 3 umpires and Steve Williams, Marvick Gomez, and Mike Inosa.
And it's one of those convos. I was going to say a foul ball. That's a long conversation to be talking about if someone heard the foul ball or not, but it's going to work in favor of Bourne.
So rather than 2 batters on with nobody out, Micheletti just heads back to first, and it's a 2-strike count here against Trimble. Couple of foul balls.
And you wonder which umpire overturned that call, because that's a long conversation to go from it's a hit by a pitch, foul ball. But it seems like Orleans is okay with the call.
So Trimble settles back in. It's a 1-2 count, nobody out. Micheletti off first. Held on to by Michelle. Morgan looking to work around, get an out here. Here's the 1-2. Slider misses outside, 2-2. The 2-2. Another off speed, dips low, and Trimble lays off it. Count runs full with nobody out. Payoff pitch. Fastball outside. And Trimble now heads on down to first with second walk of the inning for Marcus Morgan. And that will be the night for Marcus Morgan. Trying to stretch 5, and after the first inning he had, got to tip your cap a little bit to him. Battled back, kept Bourne in it. Those walks continued to creep up, and so Scott Landers will go to the bullpen. We'll get you all you need to know on the new pitcher coming in for Bourne. Here in the 5th inning, knotted up at 2s between Bourne and Orleans.
Now batting, the third baseman from University of Notre Dame, number 11, Jack Penny.
Welcome back to Doran Park. New pitcher on the mound, it's Matt McShane, the right-hander out of St. Joe's. Onto the mound here for Bourne. 2 runners on, nobody out for Orleans. Here in the top of the 5th. Showing bunt is Jack Penny. He pulls back on the fastball from McShane. It's 1-0 as it misses inside. For McShane, this will be his 4th appearance of the summer. Comes in with an even 3 ERA. 6 innings of work, has given up 2 hits. 8 strikeouts to 3 walks. Michelle Wright charging in on the infield. Fastball outside 2-0 to the left-handed hitter in Penny. Orleans looking to break the 2-2 tie. The 2-0. Trimble fouls it, or excuse me, Penny fouls it back. And it's 2-1. Runner off first is Fenwick Trimble, and Eddie Micheletti's off second. They worked a pair of walks off Marcus Morgan to begin this 5th. For right now, Morgan's stat line closes at 4 innings pitched, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs allowed, 4 strikeouts, but 7 walks for the right-hander out of Iowa. Penny shows bunt, 2-1, pulls back. Fastball down the chute, 2-2.
And you're going to show bunt that many times in the batter and Penny. You got to put one down, and that one looked like a good pitch to bunt that just a little bit. He pulls back to strike either way.
Michelle pulls back towards first base, right in front of Trimble. The 2-2. Line drive caught by Vastine. Underhand grab for the first out. Hard hit line drive by Penny, but it's right to Jonathan Vastine at short. Puts Bourne one swing away from getting out of it with a double play intact. As Johnny Olmstead digs in. 1 for 2, a single and a fly out. His 2 times up tonight. First pitch. Breaking ball misses low and away. 1-0. Runners not being held on to as Trimble takes a large lead over at first. The 1-0. Fastball catches the outside corner, 1-1. Slight shift on as Kuroda Growers a shade closer towards second base. Vastine in his normal position at short. The 1-1. Jammed inside. Olmstead catches a piece. Sends it straight back. It's 1-2. Stanfield in straightaway center field. And Chufreda and Harrelson in right and left respectively. Excuse me. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball. Olmstead drives this deep in the air, pushes Harrelson back at the track, at the wall, and it's into the base of the wall. Both runners coming around. Micheletti around third. Trimble will hold there. Micheletti slides in safely to home. It's a one-out RBI double by Johnny Olmstead. Makes it 3-2 Orleans here in the top of the fifth.
And almost some deja vu right there. You go back to meeting number 1 for Johnny Olmstead, a 3-run home run in the third inning and a 6th spot for Orleans. And that one just missing right there. A good shot to left field off the base of the wall. That's deep. Very deep ballpark here at Doran.
Infield comes in as Jake Hyde steps in. 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play and popped out to Vastine his last time up. First pitch breaking ball. He turns on it, and he'll lift it foul out of play down the right field line. 0-1. Sounded like a broken bat, and he will go to the dugout to pick out a new, fresh piece of lumber. Some interesting scenes on the base paths as Trimble knew off the bat of Olmstead that was going to get over the head of Harrelson. So much so that he was turning around second. Micheletti was only halfway between second and third, wanted to make sure Harrelson didn't flash the leather to make a play. And so Trimble had to hold over at third. Here's the 0-1. Hyde cuts and misses. It's 0-2.
And looking to keep this where it is right now. This will be a big out number 2 with 2 runners on. The infield fully in. Bourne going all in on stopping this run.
The infield from first to third on the lip of the infield grass. Here's the 0-2 from McShane. Breaking ball, popped upstairs, swung on and missed, popped out of the glove of Bodine, but he catches it again. That will be the first strikeout for McShane, second out here in the fifth.
Not often you see that. Wasn't foul tips. Got to have full control and not let it hit the ground. And Bodine just kept that one in his reach to get the strikeout.
So Bourne 1 out away from getting out of the inning. Henry Hunter comes up. 0 for 1. First pitch, breaking ball, skied in the air, deep to right field. Chufreda moves back, camping underneath it. He'll make the catch for the third out. But Johnny Olmstead puts Orleans on top, an RBI double. Now it's just a few feet from getting over the fence and left. We'll head to the bottom half of the fifth. Orleans with a 3-2 lead over Bourne. Welcome back to Doran Park. Bottom of the fifth coming up. A 3-2 Orleans lead over Bourne. RBI double from Johnny Olmstead, the difference right now. Reminder that tonight's broadcast brought to you by Commercial Electric Solutions, Cape Cod's most valued and professional electrical subcontractor who's been providing exceptional services to both commercial and residential customers for over 10 years. Do you have an electrical problem? CES has the solution. Matt Scalzo, Cam Manna, happy to be with you here. Bottom of the fifth. Orleans the 3-2 lead after Johnny Olmstead was oh so close for his second 3-run home run of the season against Bourne. Hit it into the base of the wall, drove in 1 run. Gage Harrelson to lead off, tried to square around a bunt. A little small ball to begin the fifth. Comes up empty, it's 0-1. Third baseman and Penny was crashing. Here's the 0-1. No bunt shown from Harrelson as the fastball skips in, and it's 1-1. The 1-1. Breaking ball. Harrelson chops it on the ground to first. Fielded by Olmstead. Flips to Clark, and he beats Harrelson to the bag for the first out.
And Clark just showed his speed right there. Got a great jump off the mound, having to beat Harrelson to first base, who has a lot of speed. Big out number 1.
Brings the top of the order back up for Bourne with Chris Stanfield. A ground out and a single is 2 times up. He was caught stealing his last time on the base paths. First pitch shows bunt, pulls back. Breaking ball drops onto the outer half. 0-1.
And if Stanfield and Harrelson bunt and they get it down in a decent spot, they're beating it out.
Another 0-1 breaking ball, same spot, same result. 0-2 to Stanfield. Can't bunt now in a 2-strike count. Working quickly, here's the 0-2 from Clark. Fastball, Stanfield puts it on the ground. It dies on the infield grass. Oyama flips to first, able to get Stanfield out by a step. There's 2 quick outs here to begin the bottom of the fifth.
Now batting.
And I know right now it could be a 1-2-3 inning, but for Bourne and the way Scott Landers puts his lineup together as Harrelson beating that second leadoff, if they can get an inning going with Harrelson, Stanfield, and Vastine in that order, the speed is just unreal in the base paths.
First pitch to Jonathan Vastine. Off speed is low for ball 1. Vastine's 1 for 2. A double in the first and a fly out to center his last time up. Jake Casey making a nice diving grab in that fly out. 1-0 breaking ball is outside. 2-0. Caden Bodine on deck. If it gets to him. The 2-0 breaking ball. A touch inside. And Vastine ahead, 3-0. Here's the 3-0. Fastball. Right down the gut. 3-1 to Jonathan Vastine. Ball misses outside. Vastine tosses his bat, and he works a 2-out walk. And he's someone with a lot of speed.
The catcher from Coastal Carolina.
You like to see on the base paths, but we've seen Clark's quick pickoff moves. He got Kuroda Grauer, and when Stanfield was, I guess, caught stealing, he was going before the pitch, but Clark picked over to first, and Olmstead fired a rocket onto second. Got Stanfield out by a few steps. Throw over here, Vastine head first dive and safely. Bodine's 1 for 2. A fly out and an infield single. Another throw over to first. Vastine one more times back in safely. Clark from the stretch staring straight at Vastine. First pitch to Bodine. Fastball roped into left field. Micheletti will let it drop in front of him. Vastine slams on the brakes as he makes a wide turnaround second. It's a 2-out base hit for Caden Bodine. Puts runners on first and second with 2 outs for Kendall Diggs.
And Bodine's so confident from both sides of the plate. Just waiting back on that swing, putting it to left field. And a weird read from Micheletti with 2 outs in the inning. He's being smart with the runner in Vastine that could have speed if he gets past him, but he waited a good amount for that ball to drop a few feet in front of him. maybe if he got a better jump, could have laid out.
Kendall Diggs with the tying run on second comes up to bat. First pitch breaking ball. Misses outside 1-0. Diggs is 0 for 1. A hit by pitch and a strikeout. His 2 times up so far. No one holding on to the runners. The 1-0. Fastball burns the outside corner. 1-1. Lefty on lefty. Diggs looking for his first RBI on the summer. 1-1. Breaking ball misses inside. 2-1. Slight breeze still blowing in towards center field. Or in from center field. Clark steps off, fakes a throw to second, resets himself on the mound. Bodine off first, Vastine off second, 2-1. Fastball high and tight. Diggs leans out of the way, it's 3-1. Clark looking in. He's got his sign from Hunter. 3-1. Breaking ball misses inside. Diggs tosses his bat. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs. After a 2-out walk from Kendall Diggs, brings up Garrett Michelle.
Now batting, the first baseman.
And Bourne during this hot streak, and especially the last 5 games, the patience of the hitters in the batter's box have just, you can see how much better it is. And not striking out as much, extending innings, taking smarter swings with 2 strikes, and a really good at-bat there for Diggs. We've seen it a lot from Michelle of late. And just gives him an opportunity now after first 2 batters go down in the inning.
Michelle was the hero last night. A bases loaded walk-off walk. Fouls the first pitch breaking ball off. It's 0-1 with 2 outs. Vastine at third, Bodine at second. And Diggs, after his walk, stands at first. Lefty on lefty, the 0-1. Michelle clips the off-speed straight back. It's 0-2 quickly. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball, just a touch outside. Clark hopped off the mound, thinking he had the strikeout. Instead, the count moves to 1-2 with 2 outs. He'll settle back on. He's got his sign from the windup, the 1-2. Michelle pops it up out of play, third base side. We'll go again on the 1-2.
And he's out of that off speed a lot, just moving away from the lefty and Michelle. He might continue to just do that here. Michelle's got to wait back and adjust.
Wind gusting in from straightaway center field. The 1-2. Called strike 3. Off speed froze Michelle, catches the top of the zone. And Bourne leaves the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 5th. But we got more down on the field as we welcome in the 3rd member of our team. Down to Allie Navarette. What have you got for us?
Thanks, guys. We saw some serious patience at the plate there from one of the Bourne Braves newcomers, Kendall Diggs. He comes from the University of Arkansas, and I've never quite seen a fan base so excited to see one of their guys in summer ball. Yesterday, I talked to Kendall before the game, and I've never seen so many people liking a video on Twitter. It was actually crazy. When I asked him about it before the game, he said, it's just kind of how the Razorback faithful work. They're very supportive, and I think they're pretty excited to see him starting a lot of games with Bourne this week. We'll be right back on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network.
into the 6th here from Doran Park. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Marty's Chevrolet. Your dealer for the people proudly supports the Bourne Braves baseball team. See all our cars and trucks at martychevrolet.com and go Braves. Matt McShane back on the mound for the 6th inning. Orleans with a 3-2 lead after Johnny Olmstead delivered an RBI double back in the 5th. Drove in Eddie Micheletti. Bourne had the bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch fastball high and outside to Jake Casey, the 9-hitter. It's 1-0. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Garrett Michelle frozen on the off speed from Derek Clark. 1-0. This one popped up third base side, and it will sail out of play. 1-1. 9-1 and 2. Due up for Orleans. Oyama and Blake to follow Casey here in the top of the 6th. The 1-1. Breaking ball catches the bottom of the zone, 1-2. Infield at standard depth, no shift on. Stanfield playing out in straightaway center field. A 1-2. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. McShane with his second punch out. 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
A really good pitch for McShane after having a battle in a 5th inning where a few of the hitters on Orleans got the best of him and Johnny Olmstead, but big first out there to kind of simmer down this Orleans lineup.
First pitch to Oyama. Fastball misses above the letters, 1-0. It was a nice evening, but now the clouds have rolled in. Dark clouds over top Doran Park right now. 1-0 fastball right down the chute. Blown past Oyama at 94 from the hard-throwing righty McShane. Here's the 1-1. Another fastball. Oyama can't catch up. It's 1-2. Oyama's 3 for 3 right now. All singles. One's an infield single, another's a bunt, and the other was lined straight back up the middle. Here's the 1-2. Fastball misses upstairs, 2-2. The 2-2 from McShane. Breaking ball just clipped foul straight back from Oyama. Keeps the count where it is at 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Bouncer down the first base side. It misses foul.
And a lot of great clouds, as Matt mentioned. Pretty dark towards just straight away in dead center field.
Here's the 2-2. Oyama flies it out foul. Down the third base side. Long battle here between the leadoff man in Oyama and the right-hander in McShane. Top of the 6th, 1 out. 3-2 Orleans with the lead. McShane kicks and deals the 2-2. Oyama, ground ball, first base side, gloved by Michelle. He'll flip to McShane, and he beats Oyama to the bag for the 2nd out.
Good play there from Michelle, staying focused on a one-hopper right at him. Kept his full body in front of the ball, so no matter what was going to happen, it was going to bounce off Michelle and made a good play.
Brings up Andy Blake. 0 for 2. A walk, strikeout, and pop-out for Blake so far tonight. He's made a couple nice defensive plays for Orleans at short. First pitch breaking ball for McShane. Drops into the bottom part of the zone. 0-1. McShane looking for the first 1-2-3 inning for Bourne tonight. The 0-1. Check swing by Blake doesn't matter. Off-speed catches the bottom of the zone, and it's 0-2 with 2 outs. McShane looking superbly comfortable on the mound here for Bourne. The 0-2. Fastball, Blake flies into the air, deep to right field. Giuffreda ranging towards the gap in right. He'll make the catch to end the inning. 1-2-3 goes down Orleans in the top of the 6th. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Firebirds still holding on to a 3-2 lead over the Bravos here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network.
I knew I'd heard that.
The second baseman from Rutgers University, number 13, Joshua Kuroda Grauer.
Welcome back to Doran Park. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Fairway Financial, a proud local sponsor for your Bourne Braves. If you want to hit a home run with your retirement income plan, visit fairwayfinancial.net and ask for owner and host family sponsor Steve Anzoni, Cape Cod's retirement income specialist. That's fairwayfinancial.net. New pitcher on the mound for Orleans. It's the hard-throwing righty in Grayson Carter. Foul ball off the bat of Josh Kuroda Grauer to begin the bottom of the 6th. It's a 3-2 lead for the Firebirds over the Braves. Derek Clark, his night comes to a close after 3 1/3 innings of work. Gives up 2 hits, strikes out 4, walks 3, no runs allowed for the lefty. The 0-1, Kuroda Grauer fouls it straight back off the mask of the catcher Henry Hunter, and it's 0-2. Carter out of Vanderbilt has not allowed a run. He's gone 1 inning in every stint so far. It's his 4th appearance of the summer. The 0-2, fastball. Sliced foul out of play down the first base side. It's 0-2. He's got 4 strikeouts to 1 walk. Has just allowed 2 hits in 3 innings of work. The 0-2 from Carter. Fastball misses outside. And it's 1-2. For Carter, he had appeared on the top of the Cape League heat sheets this past week, topping out at 98.24 miles per hour. 1-2 fastball. Kuroda Grauer on it, clips it foul, and it's 1-2. That one at 100 miles per hour. Carter kicks and deals the 1-2. Breaking ball misses just outside. 2-2 that. That off speed, well, it's not too much of an off speed. That came in at 90 miles an hour. The 2-2. Kuroda Grauer clips the fastball foul. And a long at bat to begin the bottom of the sixth here. Bourne still looking for the tying run. Kuroda Grauer has reached both times today, and it reached on error and then worked to walk. The 0-2, or excuse me, the 2-2 fastball down in the dirt. And Kuroda Grauer has battled all the way back to work the count full.
And to go from Clark to Carter, the fastball difference almost 10 miles per hour. Clark was right around 88. Carter, that one was 98.
Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball, Kuroda Grauer fouls it straight back off home plate. Count stays full. Can't ask for much more out of one of your leaders. Kuroda Grauer, his second season with Bourne, first full season. Came over late after an amazing summer with the Newport Goals in the NECBL. Here's a 3-2. Misses low. Kuroda Grauer works a leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the sixth.
Exactly what you want here once again. Josh leads off an inning. He gets on base. Bourne's converted so far once in the second. But a lot of these guys towards the bottom of the order. Bryce Eblin tonight so far, 2 really good swings. Got robbed of a hit back in the fourth.
Eblin, the RBI single in the second. Gave Bourne its first run. Then lined out to Blake at short, who made a nice leaping grab. Kuroda Grauer leads off first, a 2-step lead. Not trying to be picked off for the second time as snap throw over from Carter sees Kuroda Grauer dive in head first safely. He's held on to by Olmstead. A 2-3-step lead for Kuroda Grauer at first. Carter now from the stretch. Another throw over. Grauer back safely. Righty on lefty as Eblin stands in. Here's the first pitch. This is upstairs, 1-0. Kuroda Grauer off first. Eblin at the dish. The 1-0 shows bunt, pulls back. Fastball down the chute, 1-1.
And a small shift on here a little bit for Bryce Eblin. Obviously the middle infield pinching with Joe Oyama at second, but a lot of room on the right side with Olmstead holding on JKG.
Snap throw to first. Kuroda Grauer back in ahead of the tag from Olmstead. Count it 1-1 with nobody out. Pete Chufretta on deck here for Bourne. String of Eblin, the first string of 3 lefties in a row here for Bourne. The 1-1. Eblin fouls it off. His bat goes flying towards the first base side, straight over the Orleans dugout. It's not too often that you see this happen 2 times in a game.
And those kids went diving for the bat. Oh, man. Same spot, too. 2 lefties.
Eblin picks up the pine tar. Gets a grip back on his bat. Here in a 1-2 count. Nobody out for Bourne, trying to tie the game. Going against one of the top relievers in the Cape and Carter. Kuroda Grauer leads off first. Here's the 1-2. Fakes the steal, and it catches Eblin straight on the back. So with nobody out, Eblin heads down to first with a get-out-of-jail-free card and a 1-2 count. He's plunked right on the shoulder. And that will be the night for Grayson Carter. Orleans trying to shut the door with their hard-throwing righty. Doesn't get out of the inning, just faces two batters. A walk to Kuroda Grauer, and then a hit by pitch to Bryce Eblin. Brings in another lefty here for Orleans. We get you all you need to know when we come back here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. Back at Doran Park, the Braves threatening here in the bottom of the sixth. New pitcher on the mound out of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. It's Riley Frey. Makes his seventh appearance. The lefty has gone 7 2/3 with a 4.69 ERA. Has allowed 4 runs, all of them earned on 8 hits. 10 strikeouts to 2 walks. He faces 2 lefties to begin his night. First in Pete Ciuffreda. Shows bunt. Offers at it. Doesn't catch it, and it's 0-1. Bryce Eblin leads off first after he was hit by a pitch from Grayson Carter. Kuroda Grauer worked the leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the sixth. Ciuffreda lays off the fastball low and away, and it's 1-1. Carter came in, throws harder than anyone in the Cape, just faces 2 batters, and his night is done. Here's the 1-1. Ciuffreda swings and misses on the off speed. It's 1-2. Kuroda Grauer, the tying run, stands on second base here. Takes his lead. Eblin not being held on to by Olmstead at first. Here's the 1-2. Ciuffreda just jammed inside, catches a piece to lift it foul down the third base side and out of play. Dark skies over the top of Doran Park here on this Saturday night. Matt Scalzo alongside Cam Manna. Happy to be with you here. The 1-2. Ciuffreda puts it in play. Bouncer towards the third base side. Gloved by a charging Penny. Throws to first, and it is in time for the first out. Long stretch by Olmstead. Able to get there and keep his foot on the bag to get the first out. But at the very least for Ciuffreda, able to advance both runners. So the tying run in Kuroda Grauer, 90 feet away. And the go-ahead run in Eblin on second base, the 9-hitter Gage Harrelson up for Bourne.
Really good job there from Pete. Just putting the ball in place, slapping it towards the left side, advancing both runners. Prime spot with one away.
Gage Harrelson's 0 for 2. First pitch. Off speed, low and away to the lefty and Harrelson. Hard line out his first time up. And then a ground out his last time up in the 5th. Riley Frey on the mound. Corners pinched in for Orleans. The 1-0. Fastball low, it's 2-0. Top of the order, and Chris Stanfield to follow. Fastball catches Harrelson right at the knees, 2-1.
If you're Harrelson here, just put a ball right side. You're going to score that run in JKG. You just got to slap a ball in play.
2-1. Harrelson fouls it straight off his foot. He'll skip down the first base side, try and get back on his horse here. 2-2 count, 1 out. Best chance for Bourne all night have come in the last 2 innings. Bases loaded with 2 outs in the 5th. Runners on second and third with 1 out here in the 6th. 2-2 count. Frey's got his sign. From the stretch, the 2-2. Harrelson swings and misses on the breaking ball. Beautiful pitch from Frey. And there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the 6th.
Now batting, the center fielder from Auburn University, number 10.
And once again, an inning set up perfectly for Bourne. Giuffreda moving that runner over. Just a tough at-bat there for Harrelson. Now you rely on Stanfield with 2 away, who's been seeing the ball pretty well so far in his last few games.
Stanfield's 1 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs sandwiched in between was a seeing eye single up the middle. And now a conversation between the battery of Hunter Henry and Riley Frey. On the mound here, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. It's a 3-2 Orleans lead. Johnny Olmstead, once again, in the second meeting here between these two, is the difference. His RBI double in the 5th drove in Eddie Micheletti to break the 2-2 tie. In the first meeting, it was his 3-run home run that broke a 3-3 tie, gave Orleans a 6-3 lead, and they're going to intentionally walk Chris Stanfield to bring up Jonathan Vastine, create the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Loads the bases with 2 outs.
Now batting, the shortstop.
Deja vu
University,
from
number
last
2,
inning.
Jonathan
And a
Vastine.
smart call for Orleans as well. And Vast out of the box thinking he understands lefty on lefty, but kind of that confidence, okay, like right now you're going to come to me. A little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
First pitch to Vastine. Breaking ball low, gets past the catcher and Hunter, but not far enough as Kuroda Grauer holds at third. It's 1-0. Stanfield off first, Eblin at second, Kuroda Grauer at third. Jonathan Vastine at the dish. He's come up clutch on numerous occasions. The 1-0. Fastball catches the outside corner, 1-1. He broke a 1-1 tie last night against Hyannis with a 2-run single. Here's the 1-1. Vastine foul tip into the mitt on the off speed from Frey. It's 1-2. Runners take their leads. He's got his sign. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Vastine down on strikes. Frey with a pair of huge strikeouts in back-to-back batters to end the threat for Bourne. They hold to their 3-2 lead as we head into the 7th. And all hand play-by-play back off to Cam. He'll take you the rest of the way here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network.
tonight's cash jackpot, 786-724. Thank you to all who played.
Top 7 here from Doran Park, the Orleans Firebirds and the Bourne Braves. A 3-2 lead for Orleans after they got out of a huge jam just there in the bottom of the 6th. Bourne strands 2. And Matthew McShane back on the bump in relief for Marcus Morgan. Entering into the 3rd inning of work for the right-hander. He'll face 3-4-5 for the Firebirds, Eddie Micheletti, Fenwick Trimble, and Jack Penny. It's been a back-and-forth game so far. Orleans took a 2-0 lead. Bourne tied it up at 2. Orleans took a run back. And Bourne's been close on multiple innings. But the Firebirds pitching staff, 4 pitchers so far, 3 lefties. They've stayed put on the mound and have stayed dominant to keep their lead. Micheletti, the lefty, will dig in. McShane, the righty, back on the mound. His 4th appearance of the summer. 6 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts for the righty out of St. Joe's. He'll work from the stretch. Normal depth for the infield-outfield of the Braves. Micheletti digs in. McShane, the highlight kick, first pitch. Fastball line right up the middle into left center field. Shading over is Stanfield. He'll pick it up. Rounding first is Micheletti. He's heading for second. The throws are going to be offline and not in time. A leadoff double for Eddie Micheletti to start off the 7th inning. And exactly what Orleans wants for their offense.
Now batting, the right fielder from James.
Micheletti's been seeing the ball well tonight. He's worked a pair of walks and now gets to show off his hot bat. It's a dangerous hitter right in that middle of the order, and he sets it up well with Trimble and then Penny to follow. And you look further down, you see Johnny Olmsted, who's been basically the boogeyman here for Bourne this season.
Trimble digs in. McShane from the stretch. First pitch, chop foul. 3rd time Micheletti has reached base tonight. First time via the hit. He's walked twice. He's been in that 3 spot a lot this summer for the Firebirds. And Fenwick Trimble. He's 0 for 1 with 2 walks. The 0-1 to the righty. Slider fouled back. Down quickly 0-2. And the Firebirds have threatened to since their 3-2 lead. They were in a big spot in the top half of the 6th. Bourne held their own. McShane, a deep breath on the mound, looks at second base. The 0-2. Fastball, foul tipped into the glove of Bodine. Strike 3. McShane puts down Trimble the 2nd time that Trimble has struck out tonight, and there's 1 away.
It's a nice bounce back at bat there for McShane. Give up the double to Micheletti to begin an inning is, not ideal, but you come back, you go right at Trimble.
Jack Penny now digs in. First pitch to the lefty. Out in front in a check swing. He went around. Strike number 1 to Penny, who's also searching for his first hit tonight. 0 for 2. Walked back in the 3rd. 6 hits for both teams. 1 error for each side. A 1-run lead for Orleans. McShane set once again. Glove at the belt. The 0-1 to Penny. This one shot foul first base side. And back-to-back batters go to 0-2 holes.
And McShane's done such a nice job at mixing up his pitches to keep these hitters off bounce. He's gone with a lot of first pitch fastballs, but here to Penny, first pitch breaking ball fooled him, went back to it again.
Let's see what he goes here. McShane will look at second. The 0-2. Called strike 3. Fastball right down Main Street. Strikeout number 4. He froze Penny. 2 away.
He settled in nicely here.
Now batting, the first
Had a rocky start or rocky outing against Harwich, where he struck out 2 batters to begin the inning and then couldn't get the final out. Bourne did go on a win, but here against Orleans, 2nd time he's pitching against the Firebirds, and he's keeping it within reach for his offense. Now he's got to get through Johnny Olmsted, who's had Bourne's number.
The righty digs in. First pitch from McShane. Changeup is low. Blocked by Bodine. Keeps the runner at Micheletti at second base. Olmsted, an RBI double back in the 5th inning, gave the lead to the Firebirds. Has 4 RBIs now against Bourne in the 2 meetings, one of them being a 3-run home run.
That was back in game number 3 of this season. 2 home runs on his season, now with 8 RBIs. A big chance here for Orleans as this game gets later on. Darker skies now from Doran Park, lights fully on. Olmstead back in the box, the wide righty stance. McShane set, glove at the belt. The 1-0. Missing inside. Count now 2-0. Olmstead with that one batting glove. Right on his left hand. McShane gets set, the highlight kick, the 2-0. Goes fastball, just going to miss. Right below the knees of Olmstead. 3 straight balls. With 2 outs now on the inning, Jake Hyde waits on deck. McShane set once again. Here's the 3-0. Fastball low and inside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Johnny Olmstead. First and second with 2 outs, and Jake Hyde comes to the plate.
And Olmstead, we've talked about it. He's a dangerous hitter. He's shown that he can hit against a righty. His double into the base of the wall was against McShane, and when he came in the 5th, just the second batter he faced, and Olmstead nearly sent it over the wall, so he's shown the ability to hit against both righties and lefties.
Scott Landers walking out to the mound here to talk to McShane before the first pitch to Jake Hyde. Pitcher warming up in the bullpen of Bourne. Either a chance for Landers to keep him warmed up, or this may do it for McShane. Fist bumping his infield. Looks like McShane may stay in the game here. Home plate umpire and Steve Williams will walk out to the mound to break up the meeting. Big pitch coming up, first and second, 2 outs on the inning. Hyde is 0 for 3, grounded into a double play back in the first as well. A chance to extend the Orleans lead. Landers walks off the mound, McShane back of the bump, infield. Back to the respective positions.
Go ahead, Cam.
Hyde, I was going to say 4 RBIs in the season.
Tonight hasn't been his best night. He's 0 for 3.
First pitch to the lefty, fastball low and inside for McShane. His 5th straight pitch out of the zone.
I was going to say, you want to see McShane attack early in this count. You don't want to fall into a 2-0 hole.
McShane back to the stretch. The highlight kick, the 1-0 fastball just clipping the inner half. Back in the zone is the righty, 1-1. Hyde out of Georgetown, struck out back in the 5th. Olmstead off first, Micheletti off second. McShane's 1-1. This one fouled back in the box. Off the umpire in Williams and Bodine. We saw an umpire delay last night for the home plate umpire in DeMare. Don't want to see that again here. But McShane a chance to work out of this inning and get out of another jam. That's what this game has been the last few innings. Both teams with chances, pitchers shutting the door. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. McShane looking for punch out number 5. The pitch. Popped up, foul, third base side, way out of play. Normal depth for the infield, outfield of the Braves. Vastine just shaded a little bit up the middle at shortstop. Right around that runner of Micheletti. He lit off the inning with a double. McShane, the 1-2. Chopped, second base side. Crow to Grauer, he'll field it on a hop. He'll fire to first, it's in time. And that ends the inning. So 1 hit, 1 walk for Orleans here in the top of the 7th on no runs. This game stays put. 3-2 Firebirds, bottom 7 coming up, and we'll do some stretching here at Doran Park.
Hugh Pinkney says hello on the camera here at Doran Park, and we welcome you back to the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network alongside Matt Scalzo. I'm Cam Manna with you. Bottom 7, a 3-2 lead for Orleans over Bourne. And 3-4-5 in the Braves order. Caden Bodine, Kendall Diggs, and Garrett Michelle due up. Riley Frey, the lefty, out of Wisconsin-Milwaukee University, is back on the bump. Second inning of work for the Southpaw. They'll face a switch-hitting Bodine, who will bat right. Both sides even in the hits department with 6. One error for both teams. That one-run lead for Orleans. Bourne stranded 2 in the bottom half of the 6th. Frey's first pitch to Bodine, gonna miss on the fastball. Frey went 5-7 this spring with a 4.9 ERA and 90 innings. 1-0 comes in, called strike. 87 strikeouts as well. 3 seasons, 239 strikeouts for the lefty as Bodine chops this one up the middle, off the mound and over the head of Oyama at second and into center field. Bodine's 3rd hit of the night and Bourne's 4th leadoff base runner.
Now batting, the designated hitter.
3 straight singles for Caden Bodine. Exactly what you want out of your 3-hitter. And he's kind of had, after his hot start to the summer in his first few games, he's kind of simmered off as you would expect. You can't stay hot at all times, but Bodine's putting in a good night here after an off day. You give way to that middle part of the order. Diggs, Michelle, Crow to Grauer.
Kendall Diggs, first pitch, fastball called strike.
You got to hope that now here for Bourne, it's the 3rd straight inning that you've gotten a leadoff man on. Well, 3 of the last 4, they've gotten a leadoff man aboard, but the last 2 innings, you've had the bases loaded.
The 0-1, slider misses up.
Haven't found a way to break through to tie it or potentially even take the lead. Here, and Scott Lander said it early in the season, big-time players show up when the lights go on. This is one of those big spots here for Bourne.
Frey set the 1-1. Fastball gonna miss low. JKG in the 6th spot. He's been the leadoff base runner 3 times for Bourne. Bodine gets on here. 2 balls, 1 strike to Diggs. Diggs 0 for 1 so far, has been hit by a pitch and he's walked. That's kind of the story in his season. The 2-1 up and inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Coming into the game, Diggs had 4 walks and 2 at-bat pitches. Has 1 of each tonight.
He's also been intentionally walked 1 time.
He's back in the box. Bodine off first. The 3-1. Chopped right back up at the middle at Frey. He won't throw to second. He'll throw to first. Diggs is out. Bodine advances 90 feet. Matt mentioned it. Some more deja vu. Bourne advances a runner in scoring position with 1 out on the inning. And Garrett Michelle will now dig in.
Now batting, the first baseman from Virginia Tech.
At the very least, you do your job. You put the runner in scoring position if you're Diggs. He's going to hope that on that 3-1 gets a pitch towards the middle of the zone, right in his wheelhouse. Would have hoped for a better swing. But at the very least, you do your job.
First pitch to Michelle. Slider going to miss. Michelle, the hero last night with the walk-off walk. And he said he knew he was coming up at a big spot, wasn't his game, but told everyone they better be ready, and he was. Frey, 2 looks at second, the 1-0. Slider misses once again. That's been the put-away pitch for the lefty, count 2-0. 10 RBIs in the season for Michelle, 0 for 3 so far tonight. Can tie it with a single. Bodine off second, the 2-0. Fastball, swing and a miss from Michelle. 2 strikeouts as well for the rising sophomore out of Virginia Tech. Frey set once again. Here's the 2-1. This one flown out towards shallow left field into the night sky. Micheletti coming in towards the line in foul territory. He'll make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. And Bourne has a runner on second once again with 2 away. Can they convert this time? They bring the guy that's reached base 3 times so far tonight, Josh Crow to Grauer.
Rutgers University, number 13, Joshua Kuroda Grauer.
Grauer's reached on an E6. He's walked twice. He scored back in the 2nd when Bourne put up a 2 spot. And they're going to intentionally walk JKG, bring up the lefty and Bryce Eblin. The 2nd time tonight that
Orleans has walked a righty to face the lefty. It worked last time in the 6th with Jonathan Vastine on a strikeout. So Crotograuer goes down to first, the 4th time he'll reach base tonight, and Bryce Eblin
Now batting,
comes to the plate.
baseman from the University of Alabama, number 9, Bryce.
He's 1 for 2 tonight. Hit by a pitch back in the 6th. He singled. Had an RBI in the 2nd. So can Bourne do it this time? Bodine off second, JKG off first. Bryce Eblin, he'll dig in. The 2022 playoff MVP. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Frey's first pitch. Fastball misses, 1-0. 7 RBIs now on the summer for Eblin, the infielder out of Alabama. Frey ready, Eblin ready. The 1-0. Fastball outside once again. 2 straight balls here to Eblin. 3rd straight inning where Bourne is getting their opportunity to either tie or take the lead. Bodine that tying run. JKG on first. He's the go-ahead. Frey, the 2-0 to Eblin. Swing and a miss. Out in front, 2-1. Bourne right now the 3rd offense on the Cape. The best run differential, plus 25. And they've been so much better with runners in scoring position. Can Eblin get Bourne back on the board? The 2-1. Fastball low and outside, 3-1. Pete Giuffreda, he'll wait on deck. Big spot here once again for the Bravos. Bryce Eblin looking for RBI number 2 at the very least. Frey's 3-1. This one line, left center field, running over is Casey towards the gap. Now he's back at the track. He'll make the catch at the warning track. What a play from Casey in center field, and that will end the inning. Orleans robs 2 base runners once again from the Bravos. They keep the lead on their side. It's 3-2. Top 8 coming up here from Doran Park. Same score here from Doran Park, a 3-2 lead for the Orleans Firebirds over the Bourne Braves. Orleans back to the plate, and the Bravos back in the field. A new pitcher for the Braves. Brady Afton out of UConn will make his 2nd appearance. The right-hander in his 1st appearance. That came against Chatham in the 8-2 win back on June 28th here at Doran Park. 1 hit allowed on 2 walks and no strikeouts. And in a big spot here for the Braves, Orleans and Bourne both have had the chances, runners in scoring position, but the pitchers have bared down. Big defensive plays keeps the game where it is. That 1-run lead for Orleans on 6 hits and 1 error, 2 runs for Bourne on 7 hits and 1 error. It'll be 8-9-1 for Orleans. Henry Hunter, the pinch hitter in Eddie King, who will be on the end deck circle playing center field now for Jake Casey.
Now batting, the catcher
And
for
Joe
the
Oyama
University of Alabama,
will be the
Birmingham,
top of the order
number 4,
following.
Henry Hunter.
Henry Hunter so far tonight 0 for 2. Walked back in the second. He was stranded at third base. Firebirds looking for 2 in a row. 2 games back of first place in the East Division. Bourne looking for 2 in a row as well. After from the stretch, first pitch to the lefty inside on the fastball. Bourne 3.5 back. They're in second. They trail the first base team in the Katuitt Kettleers. Hunter in the box once again. Brady Afton from the stretch. 1-0, wave and a miss. Back to that fastball, 1-1. 91 miles per hour was the last pitch from Afton. Set once again, glove at the belt. Highlight kick the 1-1. This one popped up foul out of play. Count quickly 1-2.
And last time Afton pitched, I talked about how I knew him last summer and talking to him a little bit. He said the spring was up and down for him, was working through some injuries.
He delivers on the 1-2. Out in front is Hunter, a wave and a miss. Strike 3. Enters the game, gets his first strikeout of the summer with the Braves. There's 1 away.
He said he worked through those shoulder problems. That's where he was feeling those injuries. He wasn't able to pitch on a consistent basis, where last summer he was coming in every 2 to 3 days. And with UConn, he was kind of on like a starter pitcher rotation where he came in once a series.
His first pitch to the righty, Eddie King. Same result, swing and a miss.
Right now he's trying to get back into his groove, and he seems to have found a little rhythm here. Working that fastball and off speed right now well.
Long look into the sign from Bodine. Afton's 0-1, fastball outside. King pinch hitting. Has played 16 games this summer, 31 at-bats. He's batting 129 with 4 hits. That tall righty stance, playing center field, had that wonderful play to finish off the bottom of the 7th. The 1-1 fouled back on the fastball. Count 1-2. Has not had a hit since June 26th against Katuitt. He had 2 that game. Plays his baseball at Louisville. Afton set once again, looking for back-to-back punch-outs. The highlight kick, his 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside. Bodine can't glove it. Joe Oyama on deck. He's 3 for 4 tonight. Has been big in the leadoff spot. Scored back in the first to start off this game. Afton set the 2-2 pitch. Change up low, not biting his King. Count full. Normal depth for the infield and the outfield of the Braves. Same lineup in. Can Afton put away King? 3-2. Foul back. King stays alive. Orleans 6-4 in their last 10 games. The number 9 offense, but the number 2 pitching staff. They're tied with Bourne in that category. Their bats the last few games have been alive. Timely hitting is what they've done tonight. We'll do the 3-2 again. Afton's pitch way outside to the backstop. King will take his elbow guard off, jog down to first, a 1-out base runner for Orleans, and Joe Oyama to the plate, back to the top of the order.
Now batting, the second baseman from the University of California, Irvine, number 6, Joe Oyama.
Oyama with 3 hits, as we talked about. King now on first base. Orleans desperate for insurance. King is a 2-step lean. Oyama, the lefty, in the box. Third baseman in Evelyn comes in off the grass as Michelle holding on the runner and King. Afton pick over to first. King back, sliding safely. 3 stolen bases on the summer for King. Has that 2-step lead. After him set once again. Long look in at Bodine for the sign. First pitch to Oyama. Slider going to miss. 1-0. Middle infield pinching for Josh Crodegrauer at second and Jonathan Vastine at short. Bryce Eblin in on the grass at third. After him set once again. A long look in. Takes a look at first. Pick over there. King back sliding safely once again. Orleans looking to be smart on the base paths. Bourne looking to hold on to King with one away. Keep that double play intact. After him back to first. King back this time standing. Oyama back in the box. Only one pitch thrown so far. The 1-0. King is going. Bodine's throw down to second. It's high, and it's not in time. Vastine had to leap into the air, try to get the tag down. Very tough play to make. So King's 4th stolen base of the summer is a big one. Run number 4 in scoring position for Orleans, and a 2-0 count. And Bodine will run out the mound to talk to Afton before the 2-0. Bodine sat last night. It was Guzman doing the catching. He had a big double in the 9th inning that helped out Bourne win the game. And keeping this at 3-2 would just be crucial for the Braves. Looking for another thriller here at Doran Park on back-to-back nights. King off second base now. Vastine at short holding him on. Afton back on the bump, and time called once again. And the home plate umpire and Steve Williams will clean off the plate. So not a lot of pitches thrown in the last 2 minutes to Oyama. A lot of pickovers to first base. Michelle now creeps in at first. Eblin still on the grass at third. After him set once again from the stretch. Glove of the belt. Here's the 2-0. Oyama skies this one foul over the lights on the third base side. Oyama came into the game batting .326. 3 triples. That's top 2 in the Cape League. 3 RBIs, 2 doubles. He's done it all for the top of the lineup. Grew up in Japan, now plays his baseball at the University of California, Irvine. Afton's 2-1. This one blooped towards center field. Stanfield takes 3 steps in. Now he'll settle under it. He'll make the catch. Staying at second is King, not tagging. And now 2 outs in the top of the 8th.
Now batting, the shortstop from Duke University, number 35, Andy Blake.
Big out there for Afton. Andy Blake now to the plate, the last man that Afton wants to get to send it to the bottom of the 8th. Keep this at a 1-run game. Blake 0 for 3, walked and scored back in the first. Advanced on 2 wild pitches. Has that wide ready stance. Afton back to the stretch. He'll look at King at second. First pitch, fastball called strike, 0-1. Orleans is 5-4 on the road. Bourne has been 6-3 at home, getting their 6th win last night. One of the best teams on their home diamond. The 0-1, called strike, back to the fastball at the knees to Blake. Quickly 0-2. And after him, a chance to get out of another jam. Runner in scoring position in King. He takes 2 steps off the bag at second. After him shakes off the first sign. Blake waves his bat, now chokes up with 2 strikes. The 0-2. Fastball low and outside. The Braves still in front in the hit department by 1, 7-6. 1 strikeout so far for the righty out of UConn. Set once again, glove at the belt. A look at second. King bouncing around the 1-2. This one line towards left field. Harrelson coming in. It's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding third base is King. Harrelson's throw cut off by Eblin. He's in there. An RBI single for Andy Blake here in the 8th. Orleans takes a 2-run lead. It's 4-2.
Now batting, the left fielder from George Washington University.
Anthem just one strike away from getting out of it. That slider left up in the zone. Blake able to rope it down the line and left. Exactly what Orleans needed was that little insurance.
Eddie Micheletti now digs in. He's 1 for 2 tonight before the pitch. Pick over to first. Blake backsliding safely. He had the leadoff double in the 7th. He was stranded at second base. Has walked twice as well. He scored once. First pitch to Micheletti. Fastball way outside, 1-0. Big RBI for Andy Blake. Both of these squads, they've had chances. Orleans finally striking once again. Now both teams with 7 hits. After him, highlight kick, 1-0, chopped right back at him. He'll pick it up, he'll flip onto first, and that will end the inning. But not after Orleans takes a 2-run lead. An RBI single for Andy Blake. They're in front, bottom 8 coming up. Is the Bourne Magic? Is it still there after last night? We'll find out. Stick with us on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. Saturday Night Baseball here from Doran Park. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and a 2-run lead for the Orleans Firebirds over the Bourne Braves. And another lefty into the game for Orleans. It's Connor Eaton out of George Mason University. His 6th appearance on the summer. A 2.34 ERA, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts on 6 walks. No saves. His last outing came against Falmouth. He went 1 inning, 1 hit. And that was it. So furthest he's gone is 2 innings. He's done that twice against Brewster and YD. And in a big spot right here, a 2-run lead for the Firebirds, looking ahead to 500. He'll face 8-9-1 Pete Giuffreda, Gage Harrelson, and Chris Stanfield, 2 lefties. Giuffreda, the lefty, digs in. Third baseman and Penny on the grass. Eaton's first pitch from the windup. Check swing from Giuffreda. He went around, 0-1. Giuffreda 1 for 3. Singled and scored back in the 2nd, a stolen base as well. 2 runs in that inning for the Braves. Eaton's 0-1, fastball above the letters. Count 1-1. Eaton at George Mason this past spring, a 6.38 ERA on 42 1/3 innings pitched. His 1-1 chopped very slowly towards third base. Penny picks it up. No, he can't grab it. Under his glove, Giuffreda to first. Another leadoff base runner for the Braves, their 6th of the night. Will it be this time that they convert Giuffreda to first base? The second error of the night for the Firebirds. Will score in E5, and Gage Harrelson will now dig in. Harrelson 0 for 3, a line out back in the 2nd, struck out back in the 6th. Has that speed. You wonder if Bourne goes small ball. Eaton set from the stretch, takes a look at first, goes to the slide step. First pitch, chin music up and in. Eight hits now for Bourne, 7 for Orleans. So it looks like they converted the error to a hit for the Braves. So Giuffreda give him that single, his 2nd hit of the night. The 1-0, this one fouled back from Harrelson. It was a slow roller, so they are saying that Giuffreda was going to beat that one out. Tough play for Penny to make, ranging to his left coming in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrelson, the lefty, digs back in, that narrow stance. Eaton set, slide step. The pitch, slider misses outside. Count 2-1. We mentioned it already. Giuffreda, that 1 stolen base tonight. Has a 2-step leadoff first, Olmstead holding him on. Eaton, the highlight kick, he'll pick over to first, Giuffreda back standing. Another good game between these two squads, their 2nd meeting, the first from Doran Park. It was a 6-4 Orleans victory back on June 12th. A 6-run third was the difference. The 2-1, shot third base side, Penny coming in, it's going to roll foul. Harrelson would have beat it out easily. Count now 2-2.
A lot of lefties early and through the middle part of this order for Bourne. It's worked for Orleans when they've gone through these lefties. Easily, it makes the reasoning understandable to go to Eaton here.
The 2-2, fastball low, Giuffreda is going, gets past Hunter. He couldn't find it, went right behind him, right in front of Williams, the home plate umpire. Giuffreda will advance, they'll give him the stolen base. He's the 2nd. Tying run at the plate in Harrelson. And Bourne set up once again for the 3rd straight inning with a runner in scoring position. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Chris Stanfield, top of the order, waits on deck. Eaton's pitch, line foul from Harrelson off the netting and into the dugout of Bourne. Bourne had a prime chance in the 6th. 2nd and 3rd with no outs on the inning. Giuffreda moved over those runners to make it 1 out. And then a few punch-outs finished off that bottom half. Eaton set, the slide step, the 3-2, grounded up the middle. Ranging over is Oyama. He'll make the play, he'll fire to first. Off balance, it's not going to be in time. An infield single for Gage Harrelson. The tying run on the base paths. Top of the order, here's Chris Stanfield.
Now batting, the center fielder from Auburn University, number 10, Chris
Bourne's hit
Stanfield.
these high choppers that are tough plays for any infielder. And they're forcing them into these gaps. Just, they got eyes for the middle or these little gaps between the holes in the 5-6 hole or the 3-4 hole. They make it tough on an infielder. And the speed of Harrelson is just too much to overcome.
Stanfield, the righty, digs in. He shows bunt, pops it up, first base side, and going to be fouled towards the dugout. Sigh of relief for the Braves. Giuffreda's off 3rd, Harrelson's off 1st. Stanfield tonight 1 for 3, walked back in the 6th. A single, and he was caught in a rundown in the 2nd. He'll dig back in, the tall righty stance, 0-1 count. Eaton a look at first at Harrelson. He's the speedster. Slide step, first 0-1, lined up the middle, it's a base hit! RBI number 2 for Stanfield. Harrelson round 2nd, he's going to 3rd, he's in there. Giuffreda scores. Bourne down by 1 in the 8th, it's 4-3.
Man, Chris Stanfield is just, he's a gamer. There's no other way to put it. His speed is one thing, and you look at that and you just say he's just a speedster, but he's so much more. Another seeing eye single right up the middle, out of reach for Oyama. Now you got the fastest guy on your team at first, and the second fastest is at third. Probably the third fastest is up to bat.
Pick over to first. Stanfield backsliding safely. Jonathan Vastine in the box. 1 for 3 tonight. Doubled in his first at-bat in the first. Walked in the fifth. Tying run 90 feet away in Harrelson. Pick over once again from Eaton. Stanfield back standing. Bourne now with 10 hits. 3 more than Orleans. They trail by 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. No outs for the Bravos. Stanfield off first. Eaton's first pitch to Vastine. He shows bunt. Puts it right back at him. Not going is Harrelson. Eaton fires to first. Vastine is out by a step. Not what Bourne wanted there, but they move the go-ahead into scoring position. So worst comes to worst, the sac bunt does the job. Gives Bourne the chance for a single to take the lead. And they bring up one of the hottest hitters in the Braves lineup, 3 for 4 tonight. It's Caden Bodine.
Yeah, and Vastine, you know, he wanted something better there. He wanted to pull it down the first base line and just go straight back to the pitcher. He's going to be upset with himself when he heads back to the dugout.
Bodine, the switch hitter, will bat right against Eaton. First pitch, fastball, called strike on the inner half. 3 singles for Bodine. In his last 3 at-bats, the catcher out of Coastal Carolina. Harrelson, the tying run, 90 feet away. Stanfield, the go-ahead at second. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch, wave and a miss from Bodine. Gets past the catcher in Hunter. Here comes Harrelson. The speedster's in. Game tied at 4. Snap throw to third. Stanfield back safely as the ball got away on the flip back. But Matt brought it out. Bourne uses their speed. Harrelson aware at third base. He comes in 4-4 here in the 8th.
John Topoleski, a couple pitches before that, he was talking with Harrelson. He said, in all likelihood, he said, if a ball gets by, you're going home.
Infield fully in. 0-2 count to Bodine. Here's the pitch. Chopped at shortstop. Can't pick it up is Blake. Stanfield scores. Bodine to first. Comes up big once again. The Bravos come all the way back. They take the lead 5-4.
Now batting, the designated hitter.
Man,
University of Arkansas,
man, oh man, has
number 8,
Bourne
Kendall Diggs.
had the flair for the dramatic as of late. Walk-off walk last night. Bender's 2-run home run against Harwich, and now this team, you look up and down, there's gamers, there's ballers, and they're all a bunch of fighters too.
Kendall Diggs digs in with 1 out. First pitch to the lefty, a called strike.
You know, every night they're going to give it their all. They're not going to give up, even if things aren't going their way. They've done that tonight.
No balls, 1 strike. Bodine off first. The 0-1, fastball outside. They give Bodine the E6. But a big inning here in the 8th for Bourne. Started with a leadoff single for Pichu Freda. Harrelson followed and Stanfield. A sac bunt for Vastine. Bodine finished the job. Here's the 1-1 to Diggs. Not biting on the slider. Count 2-1. And Scotlanders talked about it after the win last night as well. Good teams find ways to win, and a win is a win. And Bourne, once again, trying to do that. The 2-1 to Diggs. Fastball low, gets past Hunter. Not going is Bodine. He'll stay on first. Eaton still on the bump here. 4th lefty of the game for Orleans. Riley Frey was the pitcher beforehand. Went 2 innings, 1 hit on 2 strikeouts. Eaton a look at first. The 3-1. This one, chop foul in the box. Kendall Diggs just getting a piece. Count now full with 1 away. Garrett Michelle, he'll wait on deck. Bourne looking for insurance before we head to the 9th here from Doran Park. 2-step lead for Bodine. Olmstead holding him on. Diggs back in the box, chokes up with 2 strikes, bat on his shoulder. Eaton set. The 3-2. This one dribbled first base side. This one's going to roll fair. Olmstead's going to tag out Diggs. Bodine to second. Diggs thought this was rolling foul. Didn't sprint straight out of the box. Took a weird hop and rolled into fair territory. So Diggs goes out on the 3 unassisted. And with 2 away and a runner in scoring position,
Now
here
batting,
comes Garrett
the
Michelle.
First baseman from Virginia Tech, number 19, Garrett Michelle.
Yeah, just one of those strange plays where as a batter you feel like the contact you made, you're going to get another pitch, it'll roll foul, but that one just staying on the line.
The lefty comes to the plate. RBI chance, Bodine off second. First pitch, cut and a miss from Michelle, 0-1. He's 0 for 4 tonight, 2 flyouts to left field and 2 strikeouts. A chance for RBI number 11. Eaton set once again, a look at second base. The 0-1. Slider up and inside, count knotted at once. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. That 1-run lead for the Braves. Orleans has held a lead the whole entire game, first time Bourne's been in front. The 1-1 fastball low and outside, count 2-1. This game was tied all the way to the 5th. 1 run there for Orleans, then 1 in the 8th. Gave them the 2-run lead. Eaton looks at second. Slide step, the 2-1. Once again, a wave and a miss from Michelle. Big swing now, 2-2. Eaton looking to keep it where it is. Only 1 run to chase right now for Orleans heading to the 9th. He's set. The 2-2. This one grounded up the middle. Ranging over is Oyama. He can't make the play. It dribbles into center field. Bodine's going to round third base. He is going to score. A huge bottom half of the 8th inning for the Braves. They lead 6-4.
Just putting balls in play, that's all you got to do if you're Bourne. You've seen the troubles for Orleans with their infield. And that one, a hard hit ground ball. What is going to be a tough play for Oyama? He gets in front of it, but I don't know if he booted it or if didn't see it clearly enough, and it skipped off him into center field.
First pitch to Dakota Grauer, up and inside, ducks out of the way. They'll give Michelle the hit, RBI single, his 11th RBI of the summer. 4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th for the Braves. Eaton's 1-0 to JKG. This one chopped third base side, picked up on a hop from Penny. He'll fire across the diamond. The stretch from Olmstead, it's in time. But Bourne comes all the way back. 4 runs in the bottom half of the 8th. They're looking for win number 10. Top 9 coming up from Doran Park. The Braves, we're going to close it out. Last chance for the Orleans Firebirds here at Doran Park, top of the 9th inning, and a 6-4 lead for the Braves. 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. And the Bravos, a chance to win game number 10 and the first day of July. Scott Landers said last night after the walk-off win for the Braves, a win is a win. And Bourne making that a real thing right here. Can be another comeback win on back-to-back nights. Last night, the walk-off, the heroics here in the bottom of the 8th. 4-5-6 for Orleans, Fenwick Trimble. The righty is the first man that Brady Afton will face. His second inning out of the bullpen. The righty out of UConn will work from the stretch. Glove at the belt. Highlight kick, first pitch. Fastball way outside, 1-0. Trimble tonight 0 for 2. He's walked twice. Back to the stretch as Afton gets the sign from Bodine. His 1-0 pitch. This one line towards left field coming in is Harrelson. It's down for a base hit. Harrelson can't corral it. It's past him. It's to the wall in left field. Fenwick Trimble. He'll round first and he'll go to second base. He's in there standing. And what a start to the ninth for Orleans. Not going away. A runner in scoring position for the Firebirds.
That ball left middle and a tad inside. Right in the wheelhouse for Trimble. He's able to drive it into left field. Harrelson doesn't get a great read on it.
And that's going to do it for Brady Afton. So the first swing there from Trimble takes the righty Afton out of the game. A runner on second for Orleans. No outs in the top of the ninth. Jake Penny will be the batter. We'll get you the picture and everything you need to know when we return on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. The lights shine bright here at Doran Park, top of the ninth, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Braves, Jack Sullivan, out of UConn. His second appearance here on the Cape, a 4.50 ERA, 2 innings pitched and 1 strikeout in his appearance against Chatham. And in a big spot right here. The runner is Fenwick Trimble off second base. Right now they score it a double. To Matt and I, it looked like a single and an error from Harrelson in left field. But Trimble either way on second base. Jack Penny, the lefty third baseman, will dig in. He's that tying run in the box. Bourne took their first lead in the bottom of the 8th with a 4 spot. Sullivan, the righty, set from the stretch. Glove at the belt. First pitch to Penny, popped up behind home plate, out of play. Penny tonight is 0 for 3. Walked back in the 3rd inning. Been such a back-and-forth game so far. This was the score in game number 1, an Orleans 6-4 win. Bourne flipping that here right now. Penny back in the box. The wide lefty stance. Sullivan's 0-1. This one grounded. Second base side. Grauer ranges to his right. Fields throws to first. It's in time. A big out number 1 for the Braves. Trimble moves up 90 feet. He's on third. And Johnny Olmstead will dig in. We've talked about him tonight. Had the 3-run blast the last time the two teams faced off and had a big RBI in the 5th that gave the lead back to Orleans.
Cam and I said last night numerous times throughout the season, the first out's always the biggest out. And right now, Johnny Olmstead, hot hitter, if I'm Sullivan, I'm focused on Olmsted and Olmsted only. The runner at third is not going to hurt you if he comes in.
Johnny Olmsted digs in. Sullivan's first pitch to the righty, a wave and a miss, out in front of the slider. Count 0-1.
Olmsted was looking for fastball, first pitch from Sullivan. Bodine and Sullivan likely talked about it in their brief conversation at the mound.
Sullivan set. Pitch to Olmsted. This one popped up in the infield. Crota Grauer comes in. He'll call everyone off at second base and make the catch. Bourne 1 out away of win number 10. Jake Hyde will be the batter. Trimble on third base. Bourne looking to come all the way back and beat the Firebirds for the first time in 2023.
That's a beautiful pitch, jamming him inside with the off speed.
Sullivan set, the lefty Hyde is set. First pitch, grounded, first base side. Michelle can't grab it, it's into right field. Scoring is Trimble. Going to first is Hyde on the RBI single. We're not done yet. Here from Doran Park. A run on the board for the Firebirds. It's 6-5 Bourne. Would have been a spectacular finish. Just past the glove of Michelle. And it's Owen Carpellotti digging in here for the Firebirds as the pinch hitter. Carpellotti out of Georgetown in a big spot right here. Henry Hunter would have been the hitter. He's also a lefty. And looks like a pinch runner here as well for the Firebirds. So Jake Hyde will be off the bag. But Carpellotti will be the hitter in the box. And the pinch runner is going to be Drew Farad. So Carpellotti in, Farad off first base. 2 outs in the inning. Sullivan set. First pitch, Carpellotti skies this one out towards left field. Harrelson, he'll settle under it. It's a can of corn, that's the game. Bourne comes all the way back. 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. They don't say die. They win their 10th of the summer, 6-5 over the Firebirds.
We've seen Bourne over the last week or so with them, they've had that offense going. They've gotten out to big leads, striking first. And now it's a different story the last few days. Harwich, the big swing in the bat from Derek Bender, the 2-run home run. Last night, the walk-off walk from Garrett Michelle. And now tonight, the resilience. And it just shows up and down the lineup. You just got a bunch of fighters in this Bourne lineup. Any night, any given night, you know they're going to give it everything they got every night. And right now, tonight is probably the biggest example of that. We've seen them come back in games, but this is the first time that we've seen them come back, put up a big crooked number, and hold on to that lead. We saw Brewster then battle back, take a 4-3 lead. They gave up 6th in the next half inning, and a 9-5 loss to Brewster. That just takes the wind out of your sails. But tonight, a 4 spot in the bottom of the 8th gets the crowd going, and then you give it off to the 9th. Yes, you get a runner on, and you give up a run. But that's just one. That's why you have the insurance. That, I believe it was Garrett Michelle. It was his RBI single that brought in Caden Bodine. It looks huge because they just kept going. They kept the line moving. That's the biggest thing we saw from Bourne was them fighting every at-bat, even when they left multiple runners on in 3 consecutive innings, looking to even just tie the game. And then you go down in a 2, Orleans gets their insurance, and it looks like that might be the final straw for Bourne, but they said not so fast.
It started off in the first inning, 2 runs for this Orleans squad. A tough start for Marcus Morgan, but I think that's where the resilience starts for this team. He bears down, he goes into the 5th inning, and the Bravos bats came alive in this game. Scott Landers brought up last night, a win is a win. Bourne now winning 2 in a row. They have 10 wins on the season. Matt, you brought up how important this win is in the month of July. How really big is this for this team now entering a tough stretch? Going to have to face off against Wareham, who's the 3rd-place team in the division next week.
Yeah, you got a double header. Not really. It's 2 games in 2 days. It's July 4th and July 5th. You get a home and home with Wareham. You're at Spillane Field on the 4th, and then you come back home the 5th. That's in between a couple of off days. those are big games, but you got to focus on tomorrow first before you get to that. You're at Falmouth tomorrow, a team that's given you some fights in the two meetings, a tie and a win for Bourne. But you got to get through tomorrow, and then you turn your attention to what you want to do in those two games. It's a big, popular weekend. July 4th, you're going to have a lot of people at the games. It's going to be a couple big games that will decide kind of that middle standing in the Western Division. Obviously, everyone's chasing Katuitt right now, but Bourne wants to create a little gap and show why they are up there with 1A and 1B with Katuitt in the West.
What a night here from Doran Park. Bourne finishes off the month of June with a victory, and they start the month of July with a win. We thank you for joining us on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. A thank you to our whole entire broadcast crew, Jeremy Gay and Hazel Hallis, our amazing camera operators, Ryan Bridges, our producer, Mojo Hill, our beat reporter. He'll have an article after this one. Ali Navarette on the field. That's Matt Scalzo. I'm Cam Manna with you. Bourne comes all the way back. A thriller once again, 6-5 over Orleans. We'll see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at Falmouth.